You know what that is, right? So anyway, it's a new month. We got 4th of July. I don't know about it in your neighborhood, but in mine, it sounds like Beirut out there. They're already starting up. It's only the first. It's still have a few days, but they are starting with. I mean, it's there's like bombs outside. Absolutely incredible. So I'd like to welcome people first of all um, for joining us on. You got people on Twitch tonight, and we switched it up a little bit. So we're on YouTube Music under podcasts. Obviously, if you're coming in through satellite, that's another thing. You're coming right through YouTube for all those people that might or might not have been with us in the past. And we're also live on Facebook right now. Meme Machine 973. It's the Meme Machine says that we're live right now. So we're on Facebook. So it looks like we have some people that are on there with us. You could feel free to type in the chat if you'd like on that on YouTube. If you're connecting, coming through on YouTube or on Twitch. So I'm manning the lines on all of them right now. Even with the amount of screens that I have, it's never simple. But anyway, just wanted to say thank you for everybody. We got a lot of new followers this week on all different platforms, especially TikTok. It's been kind of exploding for us, and it's that's kind of amazing because every time I'm like I had mentioned this before, every time I'm thinking that we're not going to do anything with them anymore, or maybe not even bother to put stuff on Instagram, make reels or anything that type of thing, then all of a sudden we get like a whole bunch of new people. So I'm playing around with the mics and everything. Sometimes we have to do that. No audio engineering tonight. So kind of playing around with a few things. And we'll bring that up and we'll make that solid. And we'll keep it just like that. There we go. I sound a little bit better. You can see right here. I got my rubber duckies here. This is Frick and Frack. So you can say hi to them. That's like like the good duck and the bad duck, one on each shoulder. Anyway, we were running a little bit of a promotional thing on our Twitter, which is Meme Machine 973. That's our same handle on everything: Instagram, Twitch, Kick, Facebook, YouTube, everything that we have. But on Twitter, and wow, there's a lot of people that actually were viewing this. So I'm going to refresh the page. And let's see what we got because it was about to hit 50,000. Oh, wow. 57.1 thousand views. Not bad. On satellite, we have almost, wow. Hey, it might not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but I'll take 698 people, 697. Oh, I scared somebody away. Anyway, like I said, it is Saturday night, so I'm feeling pretty good. I hope everybody's doing well out there. And I mentioned the Twitter thing because we said we're going to take a stroll down memory lane, which I plan on doing. And that could be anything. I mean, it could be 70s, it could be 80s, 90s. We have a varying, a very different audience from time to time. It's very hard for myself and for the other people that analyze um, to figure out, or actually just to get a grip on what our age group is that's listening. And it's all over the place. We had over 65 years old. It was like 91% on one of the days this week. And then we also had from age 18 to 24. So we're all over the spectrum. And that's pretty cool, I guess, because I have nothing in common with each one of those groups. So I'm going to kind of stay in the middle, which is where I am. And if you're wondering why there's no background music, it's because honestly, I don't know. It came up and then there was like a little bubble that said something. So that doesn't matter. I mean, you guys can sing and dance and stuff like that. You don't need me to do that. So, but it's anyway. We're going to do some emails from females. That's become a popular thing. Um, I kind of like it. So, as far as I'm concerned, we'll do that. We'll read a few. I did get a few emails this week. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's male or female, but obviously, for all intents and purposes, it's going to be emails from females. Not only is it great, but it rhymes. And so I wanted to say thank you. I met a lot of nice people this week. Not everybody, but it was a lot. It's a refreshing change because you try to get along with everyone in everyday life, and no matter what it is that you do or don't do on a day to day basis, whether it's work or home or just out shopping or whatever you're doing, and to run into people and talk to them a little bit. And I actually had a person. This was a few days ago. This is no lie. I'm not making this up. as far as you know. No, I'm kidding. I really did, and they said I recognize uh, your voice, and I said, what do you mean you?" She goes, "Well, I don't recognize you, but I recognize I've heard your voice somewhere." The girl was from Florida that I just happened to be in, and she goes, "I know that voice," which I find hard to believe because it was so long ago. But I guess there was an old tape or an old recording or something of that effect. Um, and she recognized it. So that was pretty cool. Not quite at the point where everybody's going to know me or this and that, and that's okay. That's it's a grind though, baby. Let me tell you something. We have so many viewing hours that we've gained over the course of the last, let's say, less than 2 weeks, from right before the last Saturday show up until right now, actually, or a little while before I went on air, and absolutely amazing. I can't believe the amount of feedback that we get. Yeah, and like I said, it was time for time, but we're getting like there's so many people that are coming in, and I guess just checking out and just just regular old run of the mill curiosity or whatever you want to say. I have stuff written down that I make notes during the week. I don't read off a script. I don't read off a teleprompter or anything of that nature. Um, I'm unscripted and obviously I'm unfiltered, but I gotta chill. I gotta chill out a little bit as far as I gotta tone it down with the verbiage, you know what I mean? I don't want to not be looked upon favorably when it comes time as far as you know, I can't curse or I really should. And in years past I really never did. I was always proud of myself for that. When I was live in a club or obviously on the radio you couldn't, the expletives and everything else. But it seemed like as after the 11-year hiatus that I have it now that I'm back, it just seems that I can't hold back. I don't know. Maybe it's all years pent up of frustration of different things when I talk on certain subjects or certain subject matters. But I'm going to try my best, folks. And don't worry, this entire show is gluten free. So if you're worried about that, but if you have a peanut allergy, you got to be careful because I tend to get a little nuts on this show. And like I said, I have emails from females. That's coming up. I am flying solo tonight. We might get a visit a little bit later on from my cousin Vinny. um, and then I'm also going to ask you a little bit later on. There's going to be different things. Now, it could be part of trivia, or we might just do it. I don't know. I have all these little things lying around, kind of like a slinky. I didn't even write that down. I was just thinking about that. Remember when people used to ask you in the supermarket, paper or plastic? Anybody here old enough? Or I'm hoping that there's people that actually recall this. Yeah, paper or plastic. Because at first it was always paper, right? It was always paper bags, and then it was all plastic, and then you had a choice, and then it was just plastic, and now there's nothing. You got to juggle it, and then you got to buy your own hemp bags or whatever the hell that you have to do now. I'll get into that stuff later, but like I said, I'm going to keep it very light. It's going to be a very happy type of show. Um, for all those new people that are coming in and haven't listened or heard me before. Now, obviously, if you're in here and you're coming in via satellite, or if you're on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, wherever you're coming through, Twitch, I think as well tonight. You haven't seen or heard me, but that's okay. You could always catch it on a rerun on YouTube. Uh, you'll see it. It's usually the next day after it's slightly edited, which is all I can do is slightly edit things. Um, Still looking for a good YouTube editor, someone that could take the long form content and make it into short. But I'm not going to go and talk about myself and about that tonight. I think if you've seen any of our past shows or anything, which by the way, this is our 25th show. Now I've had more than those, obviously, but I had to go in there and put episodes on everything because I can't find. They're all named the Mean Machine Talk Radio Show. How the hell do you find anything? I got like 79 videos in there anyway. So I'm kind of moving things around and um, trying different things, different subject matters. Now we can do trivia. I got the wheel, not a problem doing that. But I thought that we would talk more about what people are going to be typing in the chat, and I'm going to be your host, for the remainder of the evening, and obviously taking a stroll down memory lane is something that I like doing. A lot of people like that. It seems that we had a lot of people coming in through Twitter that we're enjoying that. Now, obviously, some people just go, yay, and then they're into it and they give it a thumbs up or they retweet it for us, which, by the way, when you retweet, it's like paying for a promotion for us without it costing you or I. So, whenever you do that, if you're following us on Twitter at memachine973, or if you email us, memachine973 at outlook.com, I try to get to all of them. I really do. I try to get to all of them. And that's what we'll do. You know what I mean? We'll take everything into consideration. I want everybody to be able to weigh in. Now, obviously, people that have watched our other videos and other things that I've done in the past or whatever. There's going to be guests coming up. We're going to have we're going to be moving my home studio. We're going to be moving this all around. Probably sometime. My guess would be by the end of July, maybe a little bit sooner. We have to get certain things have to be adjusted, and then we'll be able to have the different camera angles, and we'll be able to do split screens, which I could do right now if I wanted to. Um, and we're also working on. I'm waiting. It's a long, grinding process, waiting for my FCC license renewal. But I did get some information yesterday. It was ambiguous at best, and basically just saying that hang in there. Hang in there, and we're working on it. Well, whatever the hell that means. I mean, we already know that, but to be able to play copyrighted music and all those good things, and it's coming, and it's going to have instead of just saying, "Hey, we're on satellite radio" and having to loop through YouTube Music and that type of thing, we're actually going to have a station number. Like remember it used to be like 66 WNBC and stuff like that. We're actually going to have an actual handle for that, an actual tuning, so you can go in and find it on a certain thing on AM FM band. Very, very excited for that. That is very important to someone like me. Yes, I do the old school approach, and it's don't turn, don't touch that dial, that kind of thing. That's who I am. That's how I grew up. That's the industry that we're in. And whether it's satellite, whether it's streaming, or people calling it podcasts, or content creators, whatever the case may be, we're going to roll it so it's a real talk radio show and on real radio, not just a satellite. But like I said, it's going to take a little time, and that's going to happen. But I did get some, not a lot of it. There's a bunch of verbs and nouns thrown together and said, okay, Mr. So and so, we'll just say the me machine, and that they're working on it. And it takes a while. It's got to go through many channels, but it is definitely worth the wait. And I will be so excited for you guys and for myself. Because it's been a long time coming. I haven't been on actual AM FM band since I think 2001. It's been a long time, but I'm ready. So anyway, we do have to take station breaks. I have a few new sponsors, but for right now, the way things are set up, it's got to be off air amplified, meaning that it's something where I'll do spots for them, but it's not going to be live. There's certain things that certain rules. I don't want to get into it and bore you people, but that's kind of what's going on with that. So some will be on air and live, and others will not, but it all will get taken care of. And then eventually, it's going to be the parameters on what I choose for the show and the people that help produce it and that kind of thing. So we've come a long way. It is our 25th, I wouldn't say anniversary, but it's our 25th episode of the Meme Machine in season one, which is what we're in right now, which ends, I believe, July 31st. And then we go obviously into, you guessed it, season two. So that's a good thing. And I'm going to remove the sunglasses right now. Don't mind the circles on the eyes. I'm pretty tired. I did sleep. It's good to get like at least 7 8 hours, as far as sleep is concerned. And I did. That's between Monday and Saturday. I'm talking about, not per night. Um, Also, I'm going to go over a lot of things. We got some funny bits coming up, such as stuff like this. You see this? Okay. This is a real one, okay? This is a disability thing. I'm not making fun of disabled people. This is the thing is that when I get back from the break, I'm going to say, the problem that's going on with this type of stuff, because people do not read. You know what I mean? And if they have bad eyesight, they shouldn't be driving the damn car anyway. Like, why is when you go through a drive-through of a bank, why is it in braille? It's a guy driving, really? Unless there's something that it's right under my nose and I don't know what I'm missing on that. But did you ever know? Next time you go to the ATM and you drive up or whatever, take a look. They have all the stuff and the buttons, and obviously, and then there's the stuff in braille. So either the person who is blind has to be led out of the car, either by dog, by cane, or by foot, whatever it is, and then they have to run their, and do braille. or they're driving. They're driving and doing it. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I'm really not sure what I'm missing on that, but I'm going to show you that disability placard. It's a real one, and I'm going to show you that when I get back from our first break, which we're going to do. Um, got a little water going. I'm gonna put some. I got some of that new Mio stuff. I got the was it orange, orange and tangerine. And just for your audio pleasure, lately, I'm not sure why. Just so you know, the mic gain and everything, it's everything's fine and everything's wonderful, and you could hear me clearly, and then all of a sudden it flatlines. Not really sure. So not only do we need an editor, but we need somebody with a hammer, because that's usually how I fix stuff. Anyway, I have this Mio stuff. It's that Mio vitamins stuff. It's pretty good. This one is orange and tangerine. So let's see how this tastes real quick. So let's see. I'm gonna put that in there. Ooh, look how pretty that is, huh? Always shake it with the cap on. That's just me being old fashioned. All right, a little dabble, do you? Because obviously, if you people know me, you know I can't have sugar. So the stuff is, and why is it the stuff that has no sugar in it is sweeter than anything else on earth? I mean, because it's obviously worse for you than the sugar itself. And now a lot of people's favorite part of every show that I do, less filling, tastes like ass. All right, this is pretty good though. I've had worse. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, and then we're gonna dive right in, head and feet first. We're going to go over that thing. I have lots of notes and news and stuff. And real quick, just to give you a little idea of what I'm talking about, for people that used to go into McDonald's, do you remember in the, well, you could say the 70s, but obviously I didn't smoke then, but if you remember the 80s and even all the way up to the late 90s, early 2000s, do you remember um, those little ashtrays in McDonald's? They were tan. Look, they looked like copper. They were like, like tin or aluminum. They were very light. Remember those used to be on the tables? They used to have the little ashtrays on there. I swear to God. And for people that are listening or watching that have no idea what I'm talking about, but there's others that do. It did exist. I'm telling you the truth. It did exist. So anyway, just things like that. The differences between like spankings. Remember spankings? When kids needed spankings. I mean, I don't know. Some people do it for fun as part of an S&M thing. I'm talking about like back in the day, you know. But now they say, well, you can't do that now because that's child abuse. So we'll give you a timeout. And you say here that how well that worked out, right? So maybe I shouldn't even tackle that subject. I better stick with the ashtrays from McDonald's. But there's a lot easier things to do. Like, can someone tell me why all of a sudden? Do you remember for years everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, I believe it was the mid 2000s, I think it cropped up. How come everybody, especially kids, everybody's allergic to peanuts? There's like peanut allergies. I didn't even hear about that in the 70s or the 80s or anything like. And let me tell you something. My son, what I did a while ago, I had to actually sign a paper. This is a true story. I had to sign a paper when you get all the paperwork and everything when they start a new grade. And for those who have children, you all understand. And those that are children or weren't too long ago will get what I'm saying too. Your parents had to, just like I did, had to sign a disclaimer, like a release that said it, like if a kid is hungry, and and I always taught my kids, if maybe they didn't have enough food, or you feel bad, or maybe they forgot their lunch money, or whatever the case may be. And let's say maybe my son or daughter or something, I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They would be more apt to say, "Hey, you know what, Johnny or whatever, here, have half the sandwich. You look hungry," or maybe they were embarrassed and didn't have enough to eat or whatever. That's happened. I've seen different things and heard different the times when stuff like that had happened. Do you know that they can't do that because I can be sued and the school could be sued if that kid has an allergic reaction from the peanuts, from just a kid trying to be nice and handing peanut butter to him? Because I guess that kind of stuff happens. I don't know. I just find it to be ridiculous. You can't even be a human being anymore. Is that the deal? Anyway, it's just some of the grievances that I guess that I have. But it's just life seemed a little bit easier maybe we weren't as intelligent, or we didn't know, we were uninformed or uneducated, whatever you want to call it. But life, it sure seemed a little bit easier. And then some people long for those days. I don't know if I long for them, but I certainly do miss them. But you know what? Those days are over, and that's okay. But the memories, they will last a lifetime. So that's not such a bad thing. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, a pause for the cause, if you will. We're going to do emails from females, like I mentioned. I have a lot of stuff written down. Yes, I write things down, and I'm going to give you like a little roadmap, and we're going to go through the '70s, the '80s, just funny stuff. Remember pulling up to the gas station, leaded or unleaded? How about the ding ding? Remember when you would drive? I don't know when that stopped. I guess that was the '90s as well. Um, Maybe late '90s, when you drove your car into a service station or a gas station, whatever you want to call it, no matter where you were. Like here in Jersey, obviously, it's just New Jersey and Oregon that we don't pump our own gas. I think it has something to do with insurance, or we just don't like getting out of the goddamn car, whatever it is. Um, so you had to wait for the attendant to come over. And it's not the '50s where they're all jumping. I go, "Hey, you're a quart low. You want me to do?" And they start singing like "Uptown Girl," like Billy Joel, and they're doing your windows. And I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about like you used to hear a ding ding. There was a like a cord, like a rubber. I don't know, whatever the hell it was. But when your car would run over it, that's how they knew that you were there. There's no cameras and all that. You just heard ding ding. It was a very distinct sound. And for those that had their license then, and people that are older, my age, or even maybe a little bit younger, that do recall that. You remember every gas station, whatever it was, you heard that ding ding, and that's how you knew that a car had pulled up. I'm telling you, man. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not that clever. But anyway, going to take a quick pause for the cause. And we're going to go over a lot of fun stuff. I'm going to bring back some memories. I'm going to put some stuff up on the screen and that kind of thing. Um, and I just remember I was looking at the liner notes. Remember liner notes? Yeah, they used to come in cassettes and inside albums and everything, liner notes. And so that way you could actually learn the words or learn the lyrics before you started singing along with the song. So you have a clue on what they're actually saying. And I remember these liner notes that I had from Hotel California, the Eagles. Obviously, everyone's heard that song. I've always liked that line where obviously it's Don Henley who's singing that part of it. And in Hotel California he says, some dance to remember and some dance to forget. I don't know. I just always thought that he was trying, that was a metaphor for other things, and I wasn't always quite sure. I wish I could have asked the guy. I've never met Don Henley. I would have. I went and saw them though in '94. The Eagles Hell Freezes Over tour. Great, great tour. A great concert, and a great group. Really was. The Eagles were really, they're Hall of Famers. But I just remember that. It stuck in my head. Some dance to remember and some dance to forget. I don't know. It just kind of stuck with me, you know. Anyway, we'll be back in about 5. Don't go anywhere. Don't think there's gonna be any music that I'm gonna be playing, but you know what? That's okay. It's worth the wait, right? Everything's gonna be cool. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I guarantee it. We no fireworks until the 4th, but we're gonna have a few in here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. You're listening and watching the Meme Machine. We're right here, baby, from the great state of Jersey. Back in 5. All right, I'm back. Thanks for hanging out. For those that are still here, and for those that came in a little bit late, that's fine too. All right, so I'm going to share my screen real quick. But before I do that, I'm going to. Do you guys want to do emails from females first, or did you want to? You want me to just go right? You know what? We'll do the emails from females in a little bit. Because it was more or less like questions, like different people asking me stuff, and like a little bit of Q&A, which is fine. And to answer your question, Marvin, that's Marvin over there, that's in on Facebook, that's coming in right now. How are you? Good to see you. And he's a first time viewer. All right, very good. All right, so yeah, the question that he's asking on there, because I don't know if everybody could see, if you're coming in through YouTube or Twitch or something else, or you're just listening in. Um, It says you can support me by sending stars. It says stars help me earn money to make more content. That's not 100% true as far as the way that they pinned it on there. What that means is if you go in there, and I don't even know how much they are. I think it's like a few cents. It's less than a dollar, whatever it is, but it's like a star system. I think they have it on Instagram as well. Um, what that is you do it, and by the way, that all goes to charity anyway. That's what we do. I've mentioned this several times, but for those that didn't know that, so the stars that go on there, if you go on the Facebook one, if you're on the me machine right now, it says that we're live and we're on Facebook. And you get stars or whatever, and there's like super chats and little emotes and little like stickers that you purchase, whatever. That is not for yeah, it's to earn money, but the little bit that does come in, it goes right directly to charity once every I think it's every 45 days or whatever that we have it set up. So that's what that means, Marvin, because he was asking. But thank you, I appreciate you even considering doing that. That's very nice of you. Got to do stuff that's good for the soul. All right, so I'm going to share my screen really quick. And it's going to be an ode to some of the DJs, past radio announcers. Not so much sports guys like Al Michaels and stuff like that. Yeah, John Madden. Those were Pat Summerall, some of my favorites. So it's going to be more or less geared towards when I answer that particular set of questions that are coming in, um, more like radio, like Dan Ingram. If you were from the East Coast and you're a little bit older, then you're going to remember him. He was, popular. He was been around since the '50s, and then he started getting popular in the '60s. And then obviously I listened to him as a little kid in the late '70s and the '80s. He went all the way to, and he passed away in 2018. His name was Dan Ingram. They called him Big Dan. He was great. WABC, when they used to actually play, it was 66 WNBC. They used to play music on AM. It was actual like AM, and then they moved to FM band, and that ended in '82. And then he went over to CBS 101. I believe it was like oldie station. Him, people like Ron Lundy. If you people remember that, and you're from the East Coast, if you're from the West Coast, like California or anything with the K standard and not the W standard, like WPLJ, that kind of thing, you're not going to probably know who I mean. But you could check them out on YouTube. That's a great thing about YouTube. You could find stuff and clips and everything that people share all the time on there. It's actually really cool. I really didn't know how to feel about that a long time ago when YouTube first came out in '05. And I'm like, I don't know. Are they like taking this or stealing this? But you know what? Instead of having to look it up or try to find a video file somewhere in some obscure site that you couldn't find and having to do a search, whether it was Google or, whatever. But now you could find this stuff just by as simple as just letting your fingers do the walking. Remember that from the old telephone books? Yeah, telephone books. Not that long ago. Um, and you could look it up. You could just type it in, and normally you'll find at least something, or it'll allude to something, or actual directly there'll be a link right to get right to where you want to go. I think that that's amazing that we could do that. Um, but anyway, I'm going to let me share my screen real quick here. So this says it's just like a little thing that I brought up, and it says the best movies from the '80s. I don't know. All right, so let me bring this up here. And we'll make it bigger. So I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's on there. So it says, here's the best 80. I don't know who it's. I think it was parade.com. Yeah. That compiled this one. So it says the best '80s movies. The best. I don't know how you. come up with that category of best. I mean, that's very arbitrary. You know what I mean? Everybody likes different genres and that kind of thing. But all right, so here we have number one. They have is The Princess Bride from 1987. You can see right there. Now it's up on the screen there. When Harry Met Sally, 1989. Star Wars, Empire. Actually, I agree with the. I thought Princess Bride was good. A lot of people go like crazy over it. The only movie that I went crazy over was probably two that came out in the first year of the decade, which was 1980. One was Raging Bull, and the other one was Caddyshack, and they both came out coincidentally in 1980, along with Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. That was a great movie. That's always been my favorite one because I've always kind of liked Darth Vader, and I always rooted for the bad guys and that kind of thing. So, um, I kind of thought that was I kind of thought that was cool. So anyway, let's see. The Shining, also 1980, another that's a tremendous movie. Who doesn't like The Shining? I mean, who could be better than Jack Nicholson in that? I mean, he was just great. Boy, D, give me the bat. He was just unbelievably awesome, and I know I liked it a lot. So yeah, so I'm trying to play some background music for you, and it just keeps giving me an arrow. That's pretty much it. Should just give me a finger at this point. Um, but feel free to type in the chat if there's something that you wanted to mention. So maybe something jogged your memory on something that you remember or that you long for or that sticks out in your mind from the 80s or even the 70s, the 90s, whatever. We'll do it them all. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be movies, could be music, could be sports. We're well rounded here, so whatever you want. You also got Raiders of the Lost Ark, came out in 1981. Do the Right Thing is one of the best 80s movies. Good movie, not great. And I don't know if I would even put it in my top 20 for the 80s. There were so many great, what a great decade for movies and music, right? Not to mention sports. They got The Breakfast Club on there, came out in 84, 85. That I would agree with. That was a great movie. Really great. Yeah, The Breakfast Club. They have Princess Bride in 1987 as number one. Excuse me. All right. I guess that's I don't know. What are the most popular 80s movies? And of course, right there, boom. E.T., Raging Bull, Back to the Future. Okay. Definitely Die Hard. Ghostbusters. That was a big one, right? In 84, that whole summer. My God, that was it. It's on here, but Gremlins obviously was a good one. That was a big one. I mean, there's so many, but you're not even hitting all the different genres. There was so many of them. Uh, what about Scarface? Came out in 83. I mean, remember that one? I mean, how do you not? So there was a lot of them. What about Rocky? Rocky 4 came out in 85. Like I said, it's not on there, but E.T. Poltergeist was a good one that came out in 82, if I remember that correctly. Uh, let's see what Rotten Tomatoes has to say. I thought I clicked on it, but maybe I didn't. And we'll go back. Yeah, we'll do a. There we go. So let's see what they have to say. St. Elmo's Fire. All right. I guess some people like St. Elmo's Fire. Uh, what else we got here? Flashdance. Okay. Fame was a good one. I don't even see it on here. Crush Groove. Never saw that one. It came out in 85. Footloose. That was a huge one. Footloose was Weird Science. Another great one. I liked Weird Science a lot. Return to Oz. I heard that sucked. I don't even know why. Well, maybe that's why I got a 50%. Short Circuit. Good, but not great. Lady Hawk. Didn't see that. There we go. Another one from the first year of the decade, 1980, Friday the 13th. There you go. If you're into that kind of stuff. And I believe Halloween 2 came out in 81. So Coming to America, one of my favorites. That was great. 1988, Coming to America, Eddie Murphy. That was good. Highlander. That was good. Came out in 86. They put on here. I thought it was 85. But the Toxic Avenger. I never saw. I always wanted to see that one. It came out in 84. I never saw it, but I always kind of wanted to. I guess I'll, now that I'm being reminded of it, maybe I will. Let's see. Oh, let's change the lighting a little bit there. Alexa, turn second light red. Okay. Purple Rain, 1984. Good movie. Great soundtrack. One of the best soundtracks ever. That's up there with Saturday Night Fever soundtrack and Lost Boys and Vision Quest, if you remember that one. That was a great soundtrack too. And probably a whole lot more that I'm not even thinking of all of them right now. The Land Before Time, nah, I didn't bother. I'm not really into that. That was the dinosaur stuff. I don't know. Spaceballs, and coincidentally, Mel Brooks just turned like I don't know, what is he like 89, 90? Alan Arkin died. I believe it was yesterday, June 30th. Actor, producer. He was in a lot of comedies too. Alan Arkin. I don't know if a lot of the younger people might not remember him. I do. He was pretty good. I liked his sense of humor. He was good. He did serious roles too, but yeah, he passed away unfortunately yesterday. Anyway, I was reminded of that with Mel Brooks because I know that that was his birthday. I believe yesterday or the day before. Yeah, that was a good one. John Candy was in it. Rick Moranis, Bill Pullman. Yeah, definitely a great movie. Spaceballs. I posted something. I put a video up on the keep firing assholes that scene or whatever. I put that up on I think it was Instagram and TikTok or whatever. I might have put it on Twitter too. Revenge of the Nerds, 1984. That was a good one. Good movie. Willow didn't see that in '88. That was Val Kilmer. I didn't see that. The first Transformers, the animated one with the robots and everything. Transformers the movie, 1986. Didn't see it. Buckaroo Banzai, Buckaroo Banzai, whatever, however you say that. And Across the Eighth Dimension, 1984. I don't know who's picking these movies here. Top Gun, there you go. That was a good one. 1986, Top Gun. Real Genius was kind of an obscure. It wasn't like one of those that you rushed out to the movie theater to go and see. By the way, I love going to the movies. I love the smell of the popcorn and sticking to the floor and everything else. And I hate it when it seems like a lot of the people, unfortunately, younger people, whatever, they have all their phones going and you can see it and they're supposed to turn it down and they're stuff is going on in tweets and text messages. Come on, it's a movie theater. This is something that's going to probably eventually be phased out, and you won't even see movie theaters anymore. My guess is less than 10 years from now. I hope that doesn't happen. I've always loved going to the movies. It's like it's not cheap anymore. You go to the movies. Let's say you're going on a date and with your girlfriend or something, or with your wife, or whatever the case may be, or even bringing your kids. You're looking at if it's just two of you. You're looking at what are the tickets now? Like $14, $12. It's probably more than that. So you're already in for like 25 something dollars. But even more than that is the snacks. And it's not just like popcorn and like milk duds now you could go in there. There's some of these places have and I've been to them where they have like a waiter and you can get drinks and they have like comfortable like late big leather chairs and everything. Some of these IMAX theaters or whatever they call them, and I almost fell asleep when it was so comfortable. I was waiting for masseuse to come out, and you could do that, but I mean they have like nachos and there's not for me. It's just something to drink and the biggest thing of popcorn until it's falling all over the damn place. And that's all. That's all I want. I eat that all the entire time. That's it. That's all I ever get is popcorn and something to drink with it. Don't get candy. I don't do anything. But I mean, there's a lot of people get like Sour Patch Kids, and there was a lot of cool stuff. It was all part of the process, all part of the fun of going to the movies. I hope that never ends. Anyway, we'll see what happens. A lot more stuff is going to streaming and online, and then you know, people watching stuff at home. It's out in the theaters, and then or it's released, and you can get it like the same week. I think Halloween, when the Halloween Ends came out, it was available the same time that I think it was the next day after it came out in the theater. They released it, and then it was immediately available. You didn't even have to leave your house. And this all started because of COVID. I remember that, and obviously not just that. So many things have changed forever, and it's been 3 years. Some people feel like it was just yesterday, and some people it feels like it was 10 years ago. But it's been 3 years. That was 2020. What a year that was. A year to forget. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget. I'd like to forget that one. Anyway, speaking of dancing, there you go. Dirty Dancing, 1987. Not a bad movie. At first, I thought it was a chick flick, kind of like Pretty Woman, but Dirty Dancing was all right. The Last Starfighter, 1984. Pretty good. Not bad. Mystic Pizza. I think that was like Julia Roberts, like first movie. I don't know. I kind of didn't really see that. UHF, Weird Al Yankovic, 1989. Um, it was all right. I liked him. I thought he was funny and everything. When he did his videos and everything. I saw the movie, but it's been so long I don't really recall. Better Off Dead. I remember that movie. That was funny. Somebody threw out a perfectly good white boy. Remember that? That was good. Adventures in Babysitting, 1987. Or better off, that was 85. Adventures in Babysitting, 1987. Surprisingly, a good movie. Funny. Here it is. My favorite comedy of all time. Boom. And it only got a 72%. Caddyshack, baby. Oh my God. I could quote that whole movie until my last breath. What a great, I mean, every Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Murray, Ted Knight. I mean, it was just, the list goes on and on and on. Baby Boom, 1987. Good movie. That was Diane Keaton. Um, if you never saw that one, that was pretty good for guys or girls. I mean, it was just a good movie. Um, where she's an exec and then she's got a kid now that was basically left on her doorstep, and at first she didn't want to do it, and then she did, and then she's an ad exec or whatever, and then she's trying to juggle, parenthood and that and everything. But it's actually funny, but good. Like, it's got a little bit of everything in it. So I would suggest that one. Baby Boom is not bad. Not a bad movie at all. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989. God, has it been that long? Keanu Reeves, George Carlin was in that movie. That's right. I forgot about that. Sleepaway Camp, 1983. Didn't see it. Don't care. Scanners, 1981. Jennifer O'Neill. I used to like her. That movie is always going to be known for, if you've never seen it, and if you're into horror and that kind of thing. Scanners was good. That's the one where the guy's head blows up. Remember, he just going, he starts freaking out, and then it's like, his head blows up, and that's it. Then you can just return the movie after that. Return the movie. Listen to me. What are we in Blockbuster? Don't be fined. Please rewind. Remember those stickers on there? Valley Girl, 1983. I don't know. I'm not a big Nicolas Cage guy or whatever. Debbie Foreman was in it. It was all right. Here's one of my favorites. This one's great. The Untouchables, 1987. Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Robert De Niro as Al Capone. I mean, what a great movie that was. But also Andy Garcia was in that. Great movie. If you've never seen The Untouchables, my God, go and find it online or whatever it is. Buy it, rent it, do something. It's a great movie. The Untouchables. Al Capone and that whole Chicago syndicate crime thing. I mean, it was really great. Desperately Seeking Susan, 1985. Now I remember that. There was a hot summer that year. 85. Rosanna Arquette, Madonna was in that. What that was a good movie too. Some people didn't like it. I did. I liked it. Desperately Seeking Susan, where she has amnesia and she thinks that she's Madonna. Madonna thinks she does. I don't know. Just see it. That's cool. You get to look down Madonna's shirt at one point too. That was when she was pretty hot, so it's not such a bad deal. Tron, 1982. Tron was pretty good. That was Jeff Bridges. I remember that. Not bad. The Color Purple. Isn't that the Whoopi? Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg, Danny Glover, and everybody's favorite, Oprah Winfrey. Anyway, I saw parts of it. I didn't see the whole thing through. Obviously, it was from the slave day, and that kind of thing. It was a classic from what I heard. I didn't see the whole thing, but I guess it did all right. I got 73% on there, but this is, like I said, a very arbitrary list. I just happened to pick Rotten Tomatoes one, so you might find another list with a whole bunch of different movies on it. So who knows? Anyway, Beetlejuice, 1988, great movie. Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Jeff Jones. Good movie. Funny movie, Beetlejuice. Really like Michael Keaton was great in that. Here's a great movie. This one I saw in the movies as well. Beverly Hills Cop, the first one. Eddie Murphy, obviously, 1984. Great movie. Now, I thought he was great in 48 Hours. I thought he was great in Trading Places, which he was. He was great Coming to America. Great movies, but man, Beverly Hills Cop, in my opinion, takes the cake. He was just awesome in that movie. What a well-written movie. It was funny. It was serious. It was action-packed. It was just, I don't know if they're going to make movies like that anymore, but that was really, at that point in time in that year in 84, that was awesome. And a good soundtrack, too. The Lost Boys. I mentioned this one before about the soundtrack. 1987. Good movie. The vampires and everything. Jason Patrick, Corey Haim. He passed away. Uh, Good movie. And here we go again. And this one was huge in 83. And I remember watching this on HBO. Eddie Murphy, Delirious. Who hasn't seen that? My God, that put him on the map for sure. Eddie Murphy. Here's another classic. You want to talk about how movies suck now compared to back then? Here's another one. Another great movie, Wall Street, 1987. Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen, and of course, Michael Douglas as Gordon Gecko. That must have that certain movies, it's like they're tailor made just for the one character. Like nobody else could play this character. Like Robert De Niro had to be in Raging Bull, and Stallone had to be Rocky, and Han Solo and Indiana Jones had to be Harrison Ford. Well, Michael Douglas definitely was Gordon Gecko in that movie. I mean, who could have done a better job than him in that movie? Like another person that comes to mind is Anthony Hopkins as you know, Hannibal Lecter in which is not an 80s one. It came out in 90 or 91, I think it was, but Silence of the Lambs. But people like that, where it seems like they carry the whole movie, I mean, they captivate you. It's polarizing. It really is. Working Girl, 1988. That was Melanie Griffith. That was a pretty good movie too. Speaking of Harrison Ford, Sigourney Weaver's in that. That was a good movie. Working Girl. Flight of the Navigator. I don't even know one. Stripes, Bill Murray, 81. That's a classic one. Great comedy. Mystery Train, 89. Never even heard of it. Labyrinth, that was, I only saw bits and pieces of that one too. That was Jennifer Connelly and then David Bowie. I remember that one. Dead Poet Society, Robin Williams, Carpe Diem and all that stuff. Good movie. Commando, 1985, Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I don't think that was his best 80s movie. To me, best 80s movie for him, without a doubt, was, in my opinion, is Predator. Predator was great. Loved Predator. Field of Dreams, awesome, awesome movie. I hope that they have another one in here for baseball, because definitely the Robert Redford movie, The Natural, one of the best movies. Forget about baseball movies. Forget about sports, just in general. What a great movie. But Field of Dreams was great too. Kevin Costner, 89. That came out. Naked Gun, funny as hell. And that's Leslie Nielsen, and Priscilla Presley was in that. Naked Gun, what a bunch of great one-liners in that movie. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch. It was a show, and they adapted it to the screen, and they made a few of them. The Karate Kid, 1984, Ralph Macchio, obviously. Mr. Miyagi. It was a good one. The first one. I didn't like the other ones really. The first one was pretty good. Came out in 84. That was a great summer for movies. And I remember that came out right after Ghostbusters came out that year. And Footloose came out all the same year in 84. And same thing with Beverly Hills Cop. Terms of Endearment. Not for everybody. Came out in 83, but not a bad movie. Jack Nicholson, Deborah Winger, Jeff Daniels, Shirley MacLaine. Good movie. It's more of an adult theme, but it's pretty good. So I would see that. Near Dark, 1987. Don't remember. Tootsie, that was a great movie. 1982. Dustin Hoffman and Jessica Lange. Oh man, Terry Garr. That was funny as hell. Where he dresses up as the woman to get the daytime soap opera role. That was, think about that movie. If you've never seen Tootsie, you should see it. It came out in 82. Dustin Hoffman, one of his best. I mean, it was hilarious. Really, really funny movie. Return of the Living Dead. Is that George Romero? I'm not sure if that's the other one. But it's definitely an 80s movie. 91%. So whoever is doing this list is obviously a big horror movie fan. When Harry Met Sally, 1989. Good one. Definitely good. Here's one that not everybody remembers. Time Bandits came out in 81. I remember seeing that on HBO too. Remember, you had to wait to see stuff like, you had to wait for HBO. Oh, it'll be on in 6 months, and Star Wars, or Jaws, or whatever it was. But yeah, Time Bandits was pretty good. That was Sean Connery was in that, and people. It was good. I don't want to ruin it for you, so check that. You should check that out. Little Shop of Horrors, 1986, funny movie. That was a Broadway play, I believe, first, and then Rick Moranis, Ellen Green, and Steve Martin was in that. That was pretty good. Not really my thing, but I've seen it, and it was okay. But a lot of people loved The Little Mermaid, 1989. Good movie. I was just checking the chat there. So, hey, Rob, how are you? I didn't even see it. I had the screen overlapping. Heating and recycling. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm just seeing that right now. Yeah, reclining seats. As I was talking about before. I mean, they had a waiter and everything. It was unbelievable. All right, let me go back to on there. Sorry, I didn't see you in there, buddy. My life as a dog. Do I even have to mention that one? War Games, 1983. How about a nice game of chess? You know, rather than playing a regular game, let's do a global thermonuclear war. But I believe that movie was ahead of its time. I believe that was ahead of its time. War Games, that was a good movie. It came out in '83, and I remember seeing that in the movies too. Here's another one that not everybody remembers this movie. Came out in '81, Dragon Slayer, and it was a Disney movie. I mean, it was, produced by Disney, but it was really good. You're not gonna know anybody that's in there other than maybe Peter McNichol. But it was if you're like into sci-fi, or not even sci-fi, I should say, just I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like with the special effects for the time in 1981, and the dragons, the fire breathing dragons, and he's a sorcerer. He's a sorcerer's apprentice. Really, if you like stuff like that, check out Dragon Slayer, the original one, 1981. Great movie. Moonstruck, 1987, another great movie. That was with Cher, Nicolas Cage, Vincent Gardenia, Olympia Dukakis. I like that a lot. That was good. They're in Italian neighborhood in Brooklyn and everything. But Cher was great. She was great in the movie Mask. It came out in '86. I don't know if it's going to be on this list, but I really like that. Drugstore Cowboy, 1989. Didn't see it. That was Kelly Lynch and was it Matt Dillon or whatever. Didn't really see it, but I don't know. Can't even really weigh in on that one. This was a funny one. A Fish Called Wanda. Jamie Lee Curtis. So she's very versatile. Not only is she getting hacked away at by Michael Myers in Halloween, but she also was in comedy. She was in Trading Places too. She was funny in that as well. John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Kline, Michael Palin. Good movie. Funny. A Fish Called Wanda, 1988. You should see that. Das Boot, 1981. I don't know. That's the thing with the sub or whatever. It was a World War II thing. I don't know. Didn't really see all of it. Didn't see Paris, Texas. Let's blow through some of these. Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. I didn't see that one. I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark was the only one that I saw on there. It was pretty good though, from what I heard. Reanimator was good. If you're into like sci-fi, if you're into horror, Reanimator came out in '85. Good movie. Pretty good movie. You'll like it. It's gory and stuff in there, but it's good. Hannah and her sisters. Nobody cares. Big, Tom Hanks, when he made good movies like Bachelor Party. That was a funny movie. Big was good though. Came out in '88. Tom Hanks, I'm sure you've seen that. Lost in America. I never saw that one. That was I don't know, Albert Brooks and stuff, and Julie Hanger. I didn't really see much of that. Lost in America. Au revoir, les enfants. Okay, can't even say it. So why can we watch it? My Left Foot. I don't know. 89, Ran 85, To Live and Die in LA 85. Okay, that was a pretty good movie. William Peterson, William Defoe. He's a actually William Defoe is a bad guy in this. Platoon's going to probably be on this list too. Um, to Live and Die, he's a what do you call it? He's a counterfeiter, but it was a really good movie. And you know who William Peterson is? He was in what was the show that was on CSI or whatever, the first one. Anyway, you know who I mean. If you, as soon as you see him, good movie. You don't hear much about it. Uh, but if you're going to Wang Chung one night, that'll be the way to go. To Live and Die in LA, good one. Body Heat, 1981. William Hurt and Kathleen Turner. That was a good movie. Body Heat. Pretty in Pink. I only saw parts of it, but I don't know. Those people in that movie, Molly Ringwald, John Cryer, Andrew McCarthy. I don't know. I kind of get nauseous if they're all in the same at the same time on the screen. Blue Velvet, didn't see it. This one was great. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Totally cool. That's an '80s movie if I ever saw one. But Fast Times, everybody remembers that movie. That was with Phoebe Cates. The pool scene where she takes her bathing suit top off and everything. I think it's like one of the most watched scenes in movie history, other than Sharon Stone uncrossing her legs in Fatal Attraction. Not a Fatal Attraction. What was that movie? Uh, you know which one I'm talking about. I can't think of it right now. Escape from New York, 1981. Wow, I can't believe that. Now that's a John Carpenter movie as well. Kurt Russell. I always liked Adrian Barbeau. I wonder why. But Escape from New York was a good one. Real good movie. Another movie ahead of its time. The Killer, 1989, didn't see it. Repo Man, didn't see it. Broadcast News, I didn't see. They Live, I saw parts of it. It's okay. That was with Roddy Piper, the wrestler. I guess it was pretty good. I don't know. Sid and Nancy, that was, Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols, that movie about him. Let's see. Lethal Weapon, obviously, that's a great one. 1987. Poltergeist, 1982. We've all seen that. They're here. Directed by Toby Hooper. If that name sounds familiar, that's the famous guy. That's the director that did um and now my mind just went blank. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's Toby Hooper, same guy. Big Trouble in Little China. Good movie. Kurt Russell again. Not bad. I'm going to move this over here so that I can see it. I keep stretching my neck. All right, let's get that off of there. And we'll put this here so I can see. There we go. Much better. There we go. One of my favorites of all time. Say hello to my little friend, baby. Scarface, 1983. Good movie. Real good movie. All right. Do I need to even go through it? I mean, everyone's seen it, right? Scarface. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I didn't see it, but I know that because Sean Connery is in it, I would see it, but I didn't. All right. Don't Know My Neighbor Totoro. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was pretty good. 1988. That was a pretty good movie. After Hours. Griffin Dunn. Roseanne Arquette. I remember that one. Yeah. Terry Garr. Came out in 85. It was pretty good. It was funny. Mad Max, The Road Warrior. That was the sequel to the regular Mad Max. Came out in 79. Road Warrior came out in 81. That was a pretty good movie too. Actually better than good. If you like Mel Gibson, I'm sure you've seen it. Even if you don't, you should watch it. And here we go. Platoon, 1986. What more can you say? That was from people that I know that were in Vietnam that I've spoke to over the years. They said that of all the movies that came out about Vietnam or the Vietnam era or that war in particular, or the war, surrounding that one was the Oliver Stone and everything, and Tom Berenger, William Defoe, Charlie Sheen, Forrest Whitaker, and so many other people. They said that one was the most accurate portrayal of how things really were, even more than in Full Metal Jacket. But Platoon, they said, was the one that really hammered it home. That it really, really encapsulated what was going on during the Vietnam War. I see a little bubble coming up. I have to take a break in a couple minutes here. Actually, 90 seconds. National Lampoon's Vacation, 1983. Great movie. What more can you say about that one? Chevy Chase and all them. Beverly D'Angelo, Christy Brinkley. I used to love her. Awesome movie, obviously. Anything National Lampoon's is awesome. Trading Places, another fantastic movie ahead of his time. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. Trading Places was great. If you've never seen that, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. So we'll skip down. Let's see. You have to let me skip to. Okay. All right. We did all these. So let's go down. I must have clicked on the wrong thing. Let's see. Yeah, I did. So we'll do 40 to 1. That's not letting me do it. I can figure it out when I get back. Oh, we'll just do next. Duh. Yeah. All right. Good. Batman, 1989. I always thought people, I wouldn't say they argue, but I don't know. They say, oh, this one is the better Batman. And Batman. I always liked Michael Keaton as Batman. And of course, who could beat Jack Nicholson as the Joker in that one? Come on, man. You have to admit. Now, I know Heath Ledger played a great Joker and everything, but Batman, it was just another ahead of its time. You know what I mean? Michael Keaton, I thought played a great Batman, and he was funny as hell. Jack Nicholson is the Joker. I mean, if you've seen it, you know what I mean. You gotta be with me. And on that, and here we go. No sooner did I say it. Full Metal Jacket, 1987. Obviously, a great movie. Vietnam. Vincent D'Onofrio, Adam Baldwin, Matthew Modine. Full Metal Jacket. Number 38, Star Wars Episode 6. Return of the Jedi. This is the only movie that I remember. I was little and we stood, there was not one, not two, but three wrapping lines around the huge theater to get tickets to go in and see it. I remember it was May. It was around, I guess, Memorial Day or whatever, 1983. I don't know. I think I was in like 7th grade or something like that, whatever it was. Wow. I think it was a great movie. Now, I still like Empire Strikes Back better, but Return of the Jedi was good. And to me, that was the last one. I know it says, oh, it's six, and then number one came out number two, but for me, it's Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. That's it. Stop screwing around with all this and Yoda floating around with the thing. He looks ridiculous with the friggin' lightsaber. And I mean, come on. Anyway, good one. Grave of the Fireflies, never saw it. Gremlins, 84. Don't get them wet. Bright Light, one of my favorites of all time. There we go. The Blues Brothers. Again, 1980. What a great year for movies, in my opinion. John Belushi, which was my absolute favorite. He died in 82. Dan Aykroyd. I mean, and I can't even list how many people are in that movie. What a great movie, The Blues Brothers. You want to laugh, rent that one or watch it. Rent it, I say. This is Spinal Tap, 1984. What a great movie that was, too. I agree with this one all the way. Rob Reiner, Michael McKean, Christopher Guest. Great movie. It's like a spoof on a rock, on the life of a rock band. It was really good. Amadeus 84. Didn't really see it. Didn't care to. RoboCop, the original one, 1987. That comes in at number 32. Nightmare on Elm, which was good. It was a good one. Nightmare on Elm Street. And they don't have him listed on here, the original one, but Johnny Depp, I think that was his first movie before 21 Jump Street and all that came out. He was in a movie, and he was just like Kevin Bacon. A lot of people think that his first movie was 1980, which was Friday the 13th. But I'll tell you right now, and this is a good trivia question, but I'm just going to give you the answer anyway because I like you people. And right before we go to break, but Kevin Bacon, I believe his first movie or the first major movie that he was in was not 1980 with Friday the 13th. It was actually 1978. He was in Animal House. Think about it. Remember, he was part of the military guys or whatever. Yeah. So Kevin Bacon, which I like Kevin Bacon a lot. He's been in a lot of movies. He's been in a lot of movies. Friggin' well, Morgan Freeman too. But it seems like at one point in time, wasn't Samuel L. Jackson in like every friggin' movie from like 1989 to like 2000? It seemed like he was in every movie, some one way or another. I mean, he's great anyway. I don't care if he's in every movie, but anyway, I just figured I would mention it, and then we'll end it right here, and we'll go to break, which is Risky Business, 1983. Another that's now Tom Cruise had been on in a few movies prior to that. He was in Taps, uh, All the Right Moves. I think that came out right before. But Risky Business, and then and I'm sorry, and The Outsiders too. Tom Cruise was in, and he's from Glen Ridge, I believe, Cedar Grove or Glen Ridge, which is not far from me here in Jersey. That's where he is. But what a great movie Risky Business was. Anyway, we're going to stop there at number 30. I have to take a break, a little station break, if you will. You are listening and watching to The Mean Machine on satellite radio, on YouTube. We're on Twitch TV, and we are on Facebook tonight. So that's pretty cool. Everybody's enjoying that, and I'm enjoying you guys. So don't go anywhere. We're going to go and do the rest of these 80s movies here. And then if you want to type in the chat, and we could do a little trivia connected to that, or if you want to discuss something, maybe make mention of a movie that maybe didn't make the list. Like I said, this is not my list, but it's something that they put together. And Rotten Tomatoes is usually a good indicator. It's a good metric for you know they have a lot of good. Their list so far has been pretty good, pretty accurate. I mean, they gave Risky Business a 92%. I would agree with that. I'm guessing a lot of it. I really like War Games too. That was a good 80s movie. It's a good movie for any time, but think of how ahead of its time it was. Ferris Bueller. We haven't gotten to that one yet, but that's coming up. Anyway, I have to take a break, and we'll be back in a few. Don't go anywhere. Emails from females is coming up. We still have a bunch of other things to go over. Like antennas. Remember the antennas? Remember the rabbit ears that you would have to on your TV? And this is like way back when. And to get better reception, you would put what on? What would you put on there? Aluminum foil, tin foil on there. All right, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. All right, so I just noticed. I just put had be right back. I had the starting soon one on. I had the wrong screen on there, but and if you didn't notice, that's okay. And if you did, sorry about that. But anyway, all right. So we're gonna go through this list. We're down to the top 30 here. As far as this is as per Rotten Tomatoes, so we're doing like some 80 stuff. Now it didn't have to be 80s, but that it ended up that we pivoted this way today, so that's what we're doing. So here we go. So we had Risky Business at number 30. Well, we got number 29, A Christmas Story, 1983. You'll shoot your eye out. Good movie. And if a lot of people don't remember that guy in there, Peter Billingsley or whatever, well, yeah, that's right. Darren McGavin, the late Darren McGavin that was the dad. But Peter Billingsley, if you remember the early '80s, it was he did the Messy Marvin. He did the commercial for I think it was Hershey's syrup or whatever it was. He was Messy Marvin. Anyway, great movie. You can watch it anytime. I know it's a Christmas movie, but if it's on, I'll watch it. Now, here's an obscure one, more of a darker comedy. Heathers, 1989. Winona Ryder, Christian Slater, Shannon Doherty. Yeah, I remember that one. Good movie. If you can't stomach Christian Slater, of course we understand that. But it was a good movie, Heathers. It was funny, but it was kind of like a dark comedy. But some people are into that. Here we go. Classic one. I only got an 81%. So Heathers gets a 93, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is an absolute classic, came out in 86, gets an 81. Matthew Broderick, Bueller. Anyone? Anyway, I don't have to go over that movie. If you haven't seen that, you need to. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that one. See it. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Great movie. Aged pretty well, I think, but it was good. Another classic right here, and this one got 89%. All right, that's a little bit more accurate. The Breakfast Club, 1985. Emilio Estevez, that was funny as hell. Judd Nelson was just absolutely awesome in that movie. The Breakfast Club. You should see that one. That's a John Hughes movie. Really good stuff. He's the guy that did 16 Candles and stuff. He was an 80s director for sure. Really good. All right, what we got next? Akira, 1988. Didn't see it, but it got a 91%. So I don't know you could tell whoever did this list is into more like the sci-fi and that kind of stuff. Never Ending Story, 1984. Didn't see it, but it was very popular. I know at the time. I'm just not into those type of movies. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I didn't know much about it. Stop Making Sense, 84. Didn't really see that one either. Uh, Oh, yeah, right, about the talking heads. Alright, I did see parts of that. I recognize it now, but don't really recall it. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 1987. Funny movie, with both of them trying to get back at Thanksgiving weekend. It was a lot of funny scenes in that, especially with, John Candy and Steve Martin. Really, really funny. When they're staying in the hotel, when they're driving in the car at night. It was funny as hell, and they're on the wrong side of the road, and the people are trying to tell them that you're going the wrong way. He goes, "All right, thank you." Woo. Like he goes, "How do they know where we're going? Going the wrong way." All right, here's a classic, a cult classic, I guess you would call it. The Goonies, 1985. Yes, everybody liked that movie. I thought it was pretty good. The Goonies. I don't go oogle over it like some people do, but good movie though. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend seeing the Goonies. Not bad. Say Anything, 1989. That's the movie with John Cusack. That's an 80s movie all the way. He was real popular in the 80s. John Cusack, good actor. Um, the famous pose with him standing there with the boom box, you know, over his head when he's trying to talk to what's her face. You know what I mean. Anyway, Stand By Me, 1986. Directed by Rob Reiner. Now, this got a 92%. Now, Stand By Me was good. But here's the thing, and this I find to be interesting. Here's a little tidbit, a fun fact, if you will. Stephen King, and it says it right on there. It says both Stephen King's voice in the trials of growing up, but he didn't take a credit, and it wasn't produced. I mean, it wasn't announced or when it first premiered or whatever. They didn't mention his name at all. I guess their thought process at the time in 1986 was that if you say Stephen King, oh, people aren't going to go see it because they think it's some kind of horror movie or whatever. Which that would be the correct way to think, but it wasn't. Good movie though, with the kids that were in it, and Marty Feldman. I'm sorry, Corey Feldman, Marty Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, River Phoenix, the late River Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix's older brother, Will Wheaton, all those kids. Yeah, Stand By Me, good movie. Here's one of my favorites, Predator. Only got an 80%, 1987. Obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura. I mean, everybody was in that. It was what a great movie. If you've never seen Predator, see it. Airplane, 1980, 97%. All right, that's much better. Absolutely hysterical. Now there was a few of them, but Airplane was definitely it was just great. Just want to say good luck. We're all counting on you. 1980, another great movie. What a great year for movies. 84 especially and 1980 especially. Evil Dead, 1987. Look at that. Wow. Bruce Campbell and everything. Evil Dead. If you're into that kind of stuff, I mean, into the horror genre. Oh, I'm sorry, Evil Dead 2. So that was the second one, obviously. Okay. But pretty good. I did see that. You know who I mean. If you saw the actor or whatever, you know who Bruce Campbell is. Anyway, good flick. You know, if you're into that horror thing or whatever, which I do. I wouldn't say I'm deep into that rabbit hole or whatever, but I do like horror movies. I do. And some of the best ones were like those B movies, like the ones that didn't make it to the theaters or they were like non-rated or whatever, however they hit them with. But definitely a good movie. Like I said, if you're into that stuff, even if you're not, you should check it out though. Here's a funny one, and that was Nicolas Cage, Holly Hunter, and everything. John Goodman was in that funny movie. I don't see him having a credit on there, but William Forsythe is in there, and he's funny in this movie. Very versatile actor, by the way. Raising Arizona, 1987, got a 90%. I would probably agree with that. Funny movie, a little bit different. But Nicolas Cage, who I'm not crazy about him, but that was actually a good movie. Raising Arizona. If you haven't seen that and you're into that, I would see it. Now, here's a movie. This next one, Blade Runner, with Harrison Ford and Sean Young and everything. 89%. I'd probably give it higher than that. 1982, this came out. Blade Runner was way ahead of its time, and it's set in the future. So I know that they've redone. I think they redid the movie or whatever. They see the original. It came out in 81, 82. It says on here, but Blade Runner was a good movie, and I'm not even into sci-fi and all that. But Harrison Ford obviously is very captivating, and he's a great actor and all that. But if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend. You will not go wrong. I don't know if it's going to make it to the list. I don't know why I'm reminded of this, but I'm a big Sylvester Stallone fan, and Nighthawks was always a favorite movie of mine. Always liked Nighthawks. So you should check that out, though. But Blade Runner was a good one. Really good. Really good. Here you go. I'll be back. The Terminator. It got 100%. I told you, whoever's doing this list for Rotten Tomatoes is definitely into the sci-fi thing. Obviously, that was a huge movie. Now, Schwarzenegger was in, I think it was 82, Conan the Barbarian. But this movie put him on the map for sure. The Terminator. Definitely great. Die Hard, 1988, 94%. Okay. Bruce Willis, we all know that. He was in a lot of movies, but that one, that was a blockbuster. That was a breakthrough as far as I'm concerned, just like Mad Max was for Mel Gibson. Here's a good one. The Thing, 1982, also by John Carpenter, which I think was the that was after. So he came out with he had Halloween in 78, 1980. I'm talking about John Carpenter now. He had The Fog in 1980, so he had Halloween, and then 81 was Halloween too. 82 was The Thing. I like John Carpenter, man. Ghost from Mars, which didn't come out till like 2001, another great movie. But anyway, The Thing was good, and that's Kurt Russell once again. Oh yeah, and I forgot, and also Escape from New York prior to that. But yeah, it's good. Now here's the one that they love to death on that other site, The Princess Bride. Now I saw it; it got a 98%. It is funny. But some people think it's like the greatest. I don't think it's the greatest. I guess it depends. It's all arbitrary. Like I said, it depends on what you're into, what you like. But yeah, not bad. The Princess Bride, pretty good. Do the Right Thing, a Spike Lee movie, 92%. Came out in 89. Danny Aiello. And I remember the DJ in that. Remember? And that's the truth, Ruth. That was Samuel L. Jackson. You Do the Right Thing. I wasn't crazy about the way they portrayed certain things with Italians in it or whatever, but you know what? That's fine. You know what I mean? It was a decent movie. I mean, I guess I would see it. I would, if I had a choice of other ones on this list, I would get that before I got this. But at some point, if you have nothing to do and there's a power outage or something and you're watching your phone, yeah, maybe do the right thing. Good name for it. Good title for a movie, though. Here we go. Number 8, Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981, 93%. Harrison Ford again. Karen Allen, great movie. Didn't see all the other Raider, like Temple of Doom and all that. I didn't really see. I like bits and pieces, but the Raiders of the Lost Ark, that first one that came out in '81. I remember he had just got done making Empire Strikes Back. He was in that, Harrison Ford. And in '82, he came out with a Blade Runner, which we just were talking about. Raiders of the Lost Ark was what a great movie. That's one of those movies, if it's on, that's like The Godfather or Shawshank Redemption or Forrest Gump and stuff like that, where if it's on, like, and you're flicking through, it's really hard to pass it by. You know damn well that you're going to watch it, even though you already know what's going to happen. And that's the beauty of movies. That's what makes them so great. Now, I would definitely see Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you haven't, that's nuts, but go and see it then. There we go. Now, they gave Siskel and Ebert back in 1989, did their whole decade of movies, and they came up and they both were on the same page for the first time ever of what they thought their favorite movie was of the 80s. And back to 1980, the first year of the decade, again, they have it as number 7 on here, but they gave it a 93%, and that's Raging Bull. Obviously, it's a story about Jake LaMotta, the boxer from the 40s and 50s, but and it's kind of sad story of what happened to him. And he just recently died just a few years ago, too. Jake LaMotta. Robert De Niro was awesome. This is the movie where he had to gain all that weight to be LaMotta as an older person. Coincidentally, here's some more trivia. He had been in a couple of low budget movies called Ruby's Dream and stuff like that. But Joe Pesci met Robert De Niro out there in California and everything. And then they met and they spoke and everything. Frank Vincent, too, who was also a Newark guy, just like us here. He and the rest is history. They were in a lot of movies after that, obviously De Niro and Joe Pesci. But this was the first one where they starred together. Raging Bull. It's not just about boxing, and it's in black and white, and it's still good. That's how good the movie is. It's in black and white purposely. Obviously, anything by Martin Scorsese, I'd go and see. He's one of my favorites, obviously, and a lot of people out there. But they say arguably Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro's finest film. I think Taxi Driver might be, or even Goodfellas, but Raging Bull is definitely. It's not just about boxing. It's a story. I mean, it's basically the biography, an unfiltered look, in the lens of Jake LaMotta, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. But even though it's in black and white, it is an excellent movie. See Raging Bull. Even if you're not into sports movies, it's not. I wouldn't really call this a sports movie, but the ups and downs, roller coaster, and the tragic end, of Jake LaMotta. Good movie though. If you like Robert De Niro, if you like Joe Pesci, see it. One of my favorites of all time, right there, The Shining. 1980. What a great year! They didn't waste any time in the 80s. Right from Jump Street, right from the get go. The first year of the decade. Great movies, great music that year. The Shining. Jack Nicholson. Do I even need to go through this? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Great movie. Stanley Kubrick. Awesome. Clockwork Orange guy. Yeah. All right. Number 5, 16 Candles came out in 84. It only got an 81%. Good movie, though. Good movie. Like I said, the same guy, same director, John Hughes, the guy that did 16 Candles, did Breakfast Club and stuff like that. He's good. All right. Number 4 at 94%. Say, once again, it's a sci fi type of movie. It's tilted that way. And then it gets a 94% from these people. But, Episode 5, and my favorite one out of all of them, The Empire Strikes Back. Once again, 1980. Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, the late Carrie Fisher, Billy D. Williams. I like the bad guys in movies. I do. And how do you not? I mean, I was Darth Vader like I think 4 times for Halloween when I was growing up. It was a tie between Dracula and him. I was actually Rocky one year. I won best costume that year too. But anyway, yeah, Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, everybody and their mother have seen it in every country, in every language, or whatever. Great movie. I had all the posters, I had all the figurines and the action figures and everything, and as many of you, I'm sure, did too. Had the posters, had the games, everything. What a great movie, The Empire Strikes Back. Another one that I believe was ahead of its time. All right, here we go. Top three as far as Rotten Tomatoes is concerned. Ghostbusters, 1984, gets a 95%. Gets higher than Empire Strikes Back. Like to choke whoever made this list. But anyway, obviously Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Howard Ramis, Sigourney Weaver. What can I say about Ghostbusters that hasn't already been said? Great soundtrack, great movie, funny, action packed. It was good. It was really good. Ghostbusters. The remake, I don't know, or there was a Ghostbusters 2 that came out in '89. That sucked. But man, the original one, and then they tried to remake it with all women, and it wasn't as good. Leave classics alone. Stop with the tribute or reboot or however you want to dress it up word wise. If something's classic like Death Wish, leave it alone. Don't remake it. Let it be, man. Eh, I'll maybe tell you again. Anyway, Ghostbusters 1984. All right, here we go. Number two, E.T. the extraterrestrial. I'm sorry. 1982. Yeah, and I remember it came out at the same time. It was obviously it's Steven Spielberg, and it came out like right at the same summer in '82 as Poltergeist. I actually saw Poltergeist before I saw E.T. Obviously, a great movie. Who the hell hasn't seen E.T.? All right, so here we go. We don't have a drum roll, but we're gonna do anyway. And here we go. The number one movie, as per Rotten Tomatoes of the '80s, is Back to the Future. And they don't even give it 100%. So what the hell is it number one for? 1985. Great summer. Very hot summer. Good year for music. Definitely a good year for movies. Back to the Future was a great movie. I didn't see the other ones. Well, the subsequent ones that came out after that. And I mean, who didn't like Michael J. Fox, especially in the '80s, Sad what's happened to him, the Parkinson's and everything. Back to the Future. Great movie. Pretty good list. I would give this list in general on a scale from 1 to 10 as far as accuracy and how I agree with it. I'd give it an 8. To be fair, maybe 8.5. Not bad. I wouldn't have put Back to the Future as number one. I probably would have put Raging Bull. Yeah, just going back on them. I mean, it was pretty accurate though. But how many of those great movies that made this list, even in the top 40 of this list from 1980? So that's pretty cool. I thought so anyway. So there's your list for '80s movies, and how we got off onto that tangent, I don't know. All right, so now let's get back down to earth here. We're going to talk about some stuff. So, like I said, you stroll down yeah, okay, hello, memory lane is inclusive of. It could be if you're older, the '50s and the '60s. I wasn't around then. But then you got '70s, you got '80s, you got '90s. Some people are saying '90s is like back in the day or whatever. I mean, come on, it wasn't that long ago, was it? Give me a break. You're making everybody get older for no reason at all. So, anyway, all right. So I had some tidbits and everything I do, but here just as a segue here, one of the emails from females, and I told you that we do that. Um, they said this one girl, and I'm looking at it right now, the email, and her name is Maria, and she said, "Hi, I like your show." And once again, she's like, "You have a great radio voice. Have you ever considered that?" Yeah, it's what I do. Um, and she dropped this line, by the way, if you ever want to do, it's me machine 973 at outlook.com. But anyway, she put, she had asked me coincidentally what my favorite movie was and who is my favorite DJ of all time. And it says in parentheses, and don't say yourself. No, I'm not my favorite DJ of all time. All right, so it's a two-part question. So let me give you a two-part answer. To answer your first part of your question, I would need to know what genre you're talking about as far as my favorite movie. That's hard to say. For a drama, I would say probably The Godfather. I like Rocky a lot too. Jaws, another big one. I like Pulp Fiction a lot. But like I said, you need a genre. Caddyshack's my favorite comedy. The Blues Brothers is up there. Animal House is up there. These are classics, and I was lucky enough, and a lot of people that are my age or a little bit younger, maybe a little bit older, remember that seemed like that for us It was like the golden age of movies and music. But I mean, I'm was a big fan. I watch a lot of old stuff from the Honeymooners. I loved Jackie Gleason. I thought he was unbelievable. How about old clips that I saw on YouTube of Groucho Marx doing that show from like the early '50s? You Bet Your Life. I mean, Groucho Marx was in the movies in like the '30s and the '40s. Groucho Marx was awesome. He was a pioneer. Absolute pioneer. I mean, who doesn't think that he was a pioneer? Groucho Marx was awesome. It really was. Anyway, to answer your question there, Maria, so those are some of my favorite movies. Thank you for asking that. As far as favorite DJs, now, once again, another arbitrary list, but if you're asking my personal opinion, I do have a favorite. There is, now I knew a lot of club DJs back in the day, people that were just voice actors, that kind of thing. But if you're, well, let's see, where does it say? Okay, so she's from New York. So then, but it sounds like I just tell, it doesn't say on here, but I could tell that she's a little bit younger. But anything, the W's like WPLJ, like Carol Miller and Tony Pig, people like that. Shadow Stevens, who I worked with for a short period of time on Z100, he was great. Back in the day, growing up listening to WABC, I mentioned him earlier, Dan Ingram. Dan Ingram, you remember the jingles and everything like that. He was unbelievably awesome. Casey Kasem, Howard Stern. I mean, these DJs were just like, pioneers ahead of their time. I mean, come on, what would I mean? The who can do like a top 40 list better than Casey Kasem? You know, and who was more controversial at the time than Don Imus or Howard Stern and people like that? But my absolute favorite, and I knew that, and he's a big reason why I wanted to be a DJ because I just loved the way that he sounded and the way that he did things in the movie that he was in, which was American Graffiti, and he was on like a lot of shows in the '70s and up until like the early '80s. But I listened to a lot of them, and my favorite of all time for DJs, I would say, and it's difficult because there's so many of them, so many great DJs. Um, Robert Weston Smith, aka Wolfman Jack. He was my favorite. Yep. That's his real name, Bob Smith. The border blaster himself. This guy, once again, a pioneer. And I liked him a lot. And he couldn't get high enough bandwidth, or I think it was in the States when he was doing stuff in LA and everything like that. So he went to Mexico. This is a true story. And I know a lot about Wolfman Jack. And he unfortunately he passed away in 1995, right around the same time that Mickey Mantle died. It was it was the spring or actually early summer of 1995. But he was in American Graffiti as the DJ. So if you ever see all that movie, you'll see who Wolfman Jack is. Hey, this Wolfman Jack, man. He was just great. And he was inclusive. He played blues, he played rock, he played oldie. I mean, he didn't care white, black, at a time where, like, sometimes that was controversial. He didn't care. He played whatever was good, and he did it so great. Jazz and blue and rock and just everything. He did some top 40 stuff, but the signal that they got, he couldn't get one or get on a station. So he went down to Mexico, and it was like the biggest one ever. This thing you can drive from, they said, from New York to LA and back and not lose him on there because it was such a strong signal. And it was at a radio station. I can't think of the name of it, but it was in Mexico, and him being from Texas, I think originally, so he would record this stuff there and play it in the States. You know what I mean? Because it was like a higher signal, and he got more well known. And then he was on the Midnight Special, a show that was on in the '70s and everything. And he was in so many. He had his own show, and I mean, Wolfman Jack really. He was great. I don't think he had the greatest voice, but he had definitely, you knew it was him. And he looked like a wolf. He looked like Dracula. I don't know. I always admired him and I saw him. And when I watched him, even at a young age, sitting on the floor in front of the TV at my grandmother's house and stuff like that, and I would watch, hey, this Wolfman Jack, man. I was like, wow, I would like to do that. I wonder if I could do that. Because let me tell you something, announcing, broadcasting, DJing, even people that stream or do content, that a lot of people, if you're good enough, You make it look easy, and let me be the first person to tell you, and I've been doing this for years as far as DJing, and I'm very comfortable doing it, whether on camera or just on audio. It is not easy. It is a lot harder than you think. But like AC/DC said, man, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Before I take another break, which I'm going to in a few minutes, and what I call is the memory man. Now, do you remember? Now, this is not so much a comedy part of it, but do you remember stuff like? Here's some things, and I'm just going to rattle down the list of stuff that maybe was said or shows that were on that are not anymore, and things that don't exist anymore that either they've been improved or they're just were done away with, whether it was a good idea or a bad idea. Like the '70s was known for like dangerous toys and shit like that, you know. But do you remember being in school and saluting the flag? Having to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't even know if they do that anymore. They might or might not. Somebody can tell me in the chat or send me drop me a line and let me know if that even is the case. My kids aren't in school anymore, but I remember saluting the flag. I remember the morning prayer, and I wasn't in Catholic school. I'm talking about the morning prayer, and this was like I think it was in seventh grade, and then all of a sudden they stopped doing it. Like the state or the government said, no, no more doing that. No, don't do that anymore. I'm not sure. Why that began and stopped. But I'm just talking specifically about saluting the flag. Pledge allegiance. Everybody stood up, and if you had a hat, you took the hat off and everything, and which you're not supposed to have in school anyway. And you'll put your hand over your heart and you'll pledge allegiance to the flag. We did that every day, every morning, in homeroom or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I just remember that. I remember Schoolhouse Rock. Remember that? It was on like Saturday morning cartoons. There was no cartoons all the time. This is back in the '70s and early '80s. And then after that, they had Cartoon Network, and now there's cartoons on all the time. But back then, it was something to look forward to. You did your work, you went to school, and you helped your parents, and you did your chores, and you took a shower, and you used soap, and you did everything that you were supposed to do, and brush your teeth, and you had something to look forward to at the end of the week. Kind of miss that. It's saturated over and then some, but it's back then it was something to look forward to anyway. Schoolhouse Rock was kind of in between, and it would air during Saturday morning cartoons. And it was great because it would talk about like politics or science or math or whatever. So you learn some, but they had those catchy jingles, conjunction, junction, what your function. You're learning about prepositions, and you actually had something to learn, and it was fun. And it was during cartoons, so you know that you had an audience, right? All the kids were watching this stuff. I don't know. I think we kind of lost sight with that kind of stuff. It didn't have to be like a hammering job type to learn. If you made it fun, and I still remember those jingles, and I was a little kid, and I'm sure a lot of you that are listening or watching right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Check out Schoolhouse Rock. It was really cool how a bill becomes a law. I'm just a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. I mean, it was great. And you remember these, interjections and prepositions and math and science. And then the shot heard around the world was the start of the revolution. He goes, take your General Washington was there. Take your powder, take your gun, report to General Washington. And they explained how the Revolutionary War. I mean, it was great. If you've never seen anything and you don't know what Schoolhouse Rock is, look it up. And I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. And for those that remember it, you know what I'm talking about. Those days are long gone, but they were really gay. They were really great. And it aired during Saturday morning cartoons in between, you know, like Saturday afternoon, like after school specials, stuff like that. It was kind of like that. Um, Here's a saying that nobody says anymore. When was the last time someone said to you and you pissed them off and they said, you know what? Go fly a kite. Nobody says that anymore. I would laugh. I wouldn't even be offended. And by the way, I ran into someone who didn't even know what a kite was. I'm like, wow, go fly a kite. Yeah. Oh, on another show, I'm looking at somebody typing in the chat over there over on Facebook. Yeah, we're not going to do the '70s tonight, like so to speak. This is our 25th episode in season one here of the Meat Machine, and I wanted to go over some stuff, but I remember the '70s. I was a little kid. You know what I mean? It'll be something when I do that, and I'll let you know on I'll put it on Twitter, because if you follow us on Twitter, and our handle is the same if it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, whatever it is, especially Twitter. It's at Meme Machine 973. That's our handle, and you're able to see what we're gonna. We post funny stuff and cool stuff, and especially what we're gonna be doing one week to the next. So maybe you can, if you miss it, you could go back into YouTube into our videos down. There's different playlists, podcasts. But you go in there, there's a live tab, and you can see all the live broadcasts, like the one from just Saturday nights on our YouTube channel, which if you're there, you know what I'm talking about. Or you could get there. If you don't type that into YouTube, you go right to YouTube Music, and under podcast, you put in the Meme Machine Talk Radio Show, and you'll find it there. But anyway, the '70s would be more like, I would start out with dangerous toys, sexist workplace, racist commercials, pea green flowered kitchens. If you guess the '70s, you are correct. I mean, that's the '70s, shag rugs and bell bottoms, and bring your slinky with you and your etch a sketch while you're at it. Anyway, that's just stuff that I remember. And I'm writing different things down. Like I mentioned before, antennas that you had on regular TV. This is before you had cable and everything. And even after that, and you had the rabbit ears. They had the two, you know, the rabbit ears, the antennas, and you would have to put a little bit of foil on it. Remember, you'd have someone go over to, okay, Joe, go over on the TV. All right, no, wait, don't move. Wait, don't move. Oh, yeah, okay, that's good. All right, now put the aluminum foil on there. Make it tighter. No, don't move. Okay, it's good. No, don't move out of the way so I can see. All right, tilt it to the left. No, you're left. Yeah. All right, the other way. Your other right. Yeah. All right, do it. All right, put the aluminum foil on there, and you would have to do this kind of stuff, and it was funny, but that was then, man. I mean, that was what it was. Antennas with rabbit ears. Those are the rabbit ears. They're called tinfoil because they look like rabbit ears coming off the thing. You know, like I said earlier, like people that would say you walk, you go when you're a little bit older and you get your license, you go in there and you pull up and you put your window down, and the attendant would say, you want leaded or unleaded gas? I mean, it was choices, not like, the different octanes. This was completely like, the government said you got to take some of the lead out and everything. So they had to have unleaded, but then you had a choice. It was like paper or plastic, you know? How about phone books? You don't see those anymore, right? And that ended like less than 10 years ago. We were still getting these phone books, white pages to look up people and yellow pages for businesses. Everybody knew what it was. Let your fingers do the walking, you know, bell, yellow pages. That's what it was, man. And that was the way it was. How about before GPS? Before they had GPS, there was road maps. Yep. You would have to buy a map, and you could get one like at a corner store, like a convenience store, whatever it was, and they would have like this carousel. Like they would like with comic books or something. It was a carousel. They had like the big atlases for like truck drivers and everything, and you had the map, and you're playing around with the map and everything, and it's kind of funny, but you would have that, and then you had the smaller ones, and then they had the ones of just one state, like just New York or just California or just Texas or just Michigan or whatever it was. You could do it by state. You could get county maps. You could have like just like municipal ones. I mean, you had to buy maps. I've used them when I was out in California. We had to use them. This right as what do you call it, was getting more and more popular before Garmin came out. Where you remember you had to buy. I remember renting a vehicle and having to rent for a little bit extra money a GPS, but it was kind of cool. It looked like a video game. Yeah, you put it in, you're like, and you're going, and that was your GPS. Obviously, everyone has it on their phone and everything else in their car, but before that, you wanted to figure out where you were going. You needed a map. How about cigarette machines? When you walked into a bar, or they had them in laundry mats, and they had them like everywhere, bars and restaurants and everything, cigarette machines, and it made that very distinctive. You know what I mean? When you after you put the coins in or whatever. And you know what? The biggest thing that, and people that didn't even smoke, but this is true. If you were ever in a place where you needed quarters, if you were playing a jukebox, if you were playing a video game, whatever it was that you needed quarters, a lot of people would put the dollars in those cigarette machines and then hit the return money thing, like hit the slot thing, and it would return your money. Like you put in a single and it would return 4 quarter, and that's how you would make change for the phone booth. Or that's another thing. Where the hell's all the phone booths? But if you needed to use the payphone or something like that and you didn't have change, that was what people would use, the cigarette machine, and then get the coins back. That's a true story. um Yeah, how about the blue light special from Kmart? Remember that? Where you're in Kmart back in the day, and all of a sudden some nerd would come up on the thing and go, "In today's blue light special is aisle 4, uh, Tampax," or whatever it was. And everybody would, like, rush over to where the blue light was flashing in that aisle, and that was, like, the sale and thing. I don't know, I kinda thought that that was kinda cool, not for that particular thing that I mentioned, but you know what I mean. The blue light special, people still remember that. They've forgotten a lot of things from all the alcohol and drugs that they've done and consumed, but people remember back in the day, Kmart was like a joke, but the blue light special was kind of funny. Yeah, cigarette machines, unbelievable, man. How about rotary phones? We're going way back with that. Now, if you had a rotary phone and any number that you were calling had a 9 in it, you had to wait all the way to go. You had to do it was like a dial, for those who don't know, and you'd have to wait all that time for it to come back. So if there was more than one 9 in the number you were calling, forget about it. You were there for like 4 minutes, it felt like. Rotary phones. How about going to a gas station? Go into a gas station and you had to use the bathroom. And what did they do? They give you a key, but they didn't want you to steal the key to the restroom or they didn't want you to lose it or whatever, so it would be attached to, like, a hubcap or some ridiculous large thing so they knew that you couldn't put it in your pocket. I mean, you're trying to get to the bathroom, you gotta go do number 2, and meanwhile, you gotta drag a friggin' cinder block, with you to go to the bathroom. Yeah, this is what they did. They used to have the bathroom key. "Can I use the bathroom?" And a lot of times it wasn't a men's room and a woman's room, and now I don't even know what else we have. But, back then, it was just men, but sometimes it was a unisex, so meaning there was only one bathroom, so you had to wait. There was, like, a line to get in there, like, everybody had to go to the bathroom at the gas station for whatever reason. We wouldn't stop and get directions, ever. Men would not do that. We would still be driving around from the '70s and '80s because we refused to ask for directions, but that's what you would do at a gas station, and when you had to go to the bathroom, "Oh, the kids haven't gone to the bathroom." You shoulda went before we left. Right, but that was 16 hours ago. Can I pee now? Anyway. That was it. It was a hubcap or a cinder block or some kind of heavy instrument or object. I remember one was an axe handle. I had to walk into the bathroom. It was a friggin' weapon, man. These guys handed me a weapon. I'm like 13. Here, take this tree trunk with you and go take a leak. I mean, come on, what the hell? Anyway, true story. I don't know if they still do that. I try not to go to the bathroom at a gas station, but and I mentioned this earlier too. I'm just looking at my notes. Speaking of notes, liner notes that came in albums or they came in like cassettes. Remember, you open up and it had all like the lyrics for every song that was on that particular, for all the different tracks on their liner notes. It was cool. You knew exactly. You didn't have Google back then. You had to actually do stuff like the Dewey Decimal System in a library. Kind of a pain in the ass, but you could look up by author, by subject. Uh, you know what I mean? Or by title or whatever it is, and you'd have to go through all those, you know, they were like filing cabinets in essence, the wood ones with the long drawers and it had all the index cards in them. That was the Dewey Decimal System, and that was what it was called. And we had to use that to look stuff up in the library for reports or whatever we had going on for school, whether it's your school library or any public library. Obviously, they don't have that anymore, but that's what you had to do. There was no Google. Like my parents used to say, I'd be like, "What does this word mean?" They'd be like, "Find a dictionary and look it up." And then you'd have someone knocking on the door, and that's an encyclopedia salesman. We actually entertained these frigging guys, and we brought them in. My parents were nice. Brought them in. I'm not sure if we bought him or not. I think we just jerked this guy around, but he got a lot of free beer, I think. Anyway, encyclopedia salesman and vacuum salesman. Can you imagine? You thought Jehovah's Witness was bad? You thought Jehovah's Witness was bad. Imagine having a guy from with Encyclopedia Britannica sitting out your front stoop. But anyway, how about cigarette lighters in cars? Now, they had them in rental cars up to about, I think it was like 10, 12 years ago, and they don't have them. They had, remember in the ashtray, they all had ashtrays, and that's where all your change went after, if you weren't a smoker or after a while. And then they just did away with it altogether. But yeah, they had cigarette lighters. They had to wait. You pressed it in, you had to wait, and then it finally would pop out, scare the shit out of you because you forgot by that time that you even had the damn thing pressed in. And it was that red coil. You would look at it, it was like a red coil. You know what I mean? And then you try it out on your little brother or little sister. Okay, it's ready to go. Yep, cigarette lighters. It's true. It is true. Just like Blockbuster, man. Remember that? And not too long ago, I used to get the discs in the mail, the DVDs in the mail. Now it's all streaming. You had a choice. You could have some streaming, and then some titles weren't available on streaming. You had to get the extra. And I'll tell you what, it was the fast. You want to talk about fast? You got done with a title, whether it was Netflix or Blockbuster. They both had that service, and then it ended up being just Netflix after a while. But so if you were, I think, allowed to get two or three at a time, and as soon as you return them, you know how it worked. You would get other ones on your list sent to you automatically. You made the list online or whatever, and then they would send it to you. I didn't like streaming. I liked getting the actual disc. Let me tell you something. I put it out for the mailman, and the mailman used to come late, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4:30 or whatever. I put it out. Within 24 hours, it seemed like I had new titles, the new DVDs in my mailbox. I'm not kidding you, man. Either it was the greatest service of all time. People couldn't get their social security checks that quick, but they could get a friggin', you know, Scarface or whatever on DVD a lot quicker than that. But anyway, like things that I remember, I mentioned the McDonald's cigarette ashtrays. You remember those ashtrays? But like stuff like that. But it was funny. They had them. You thought the McRib was bad. You think people are offended? By the way, stop being offended by everything. Tissues should be soft, not people. Come on, man. Enough with that. Or you get a timeout. Yeah, you see how well that worked. How about milk cartons with missing children on them? Now, obviously, there's still missing children, and this is not a funny subject. But on the sides of milk cartons, obviously not the plastic ones, but when there was actual cartons, the cardboard cartons, which you still can get with some things. Nowadays, the only thing I see in cartons, you do see some of that with like coffee cream or whatever. But eggnog seems like it's the only one that comes out. Yeah, but it was big, and there was always like you're sitting there eating, and a lot of kids, I guess, got found because people would be eating their breakfast cereal, whatever they're doing with the milk, and they're staring at, and it would say missing on there. It was sad actually, and there was always like a missing child or something, male, female, from like a different state. Have you seen this person? There's their date of birth, and this is what their last known whereabouts or whatever it was, and it was on the side of people, younger people that don't know this. They used to put it on milk cartons. I'm not joking. And I think that helped a lot of people too. Um, there's things that have disappeared. They're not here anymore. I don't know if that's part of memory lane, but for me, it is. How about smoking or non-smoking? Smoking or non-smoking? Whether you're getting on an airplane or in a restaurant, it was smoking or non-smoking everywhere. Now you can't do it anywhere, but back then you could, and that was the big thing. You go into a diner, let's say here in Jersey or wherever you were, and they'd have ashtrays out and everything. And if you lit a cigarette or whatever, it was always the big joke was as soon as you lit a cigarette, that's when your food came. I swear. So you couldn't finish the cigarette. But nobody really bitched about it or anything. Even when you had non-smokers, which was there was a lot less of them. Now it's the other way around. Yep. As soon as you lit that cigarette, man, boom, your food's there. It was funny. We used to say, "Are you really hungry? You are. Try to light a cigarette. Your food will be right out." And sure as shit, it would happen right then and there. But yeah, that's true. I remember those red dodgeballs. I got hit with enough of them. I was great at dodgeball. They were like, they used them for dodgeball and kickball. It was both. They did both, and it was. I mean, I just remember them. And it was that distinct sound it was when it would hit you, whatever. And sometimes they would be distorted. You know what I mean? Like all the air was in on one side or not the other. Um, so anyway, you remember those? It was like that rubber, had that certain pattern on it. Well, every friggin' summer camp and every school, grammar school, whatever it was, they used the same ball for dodgeball and as they did for kickball. It was those red. It was like that off red almost maroonish kind of kickballs. Remember? I don't know. I just remember those. It stuck out in my mind. You know, no risk, no reward. You got to take risks, man. So we did. I love dodgeball. That was great. I'm sure a lot of you did too. And last but not least, I say I have other ones written down and different things, and I went over a lot of them, especially phone booths. That's why there's no more Superman. He couldn't find a phone booth anymore. How about this one as the final one to just to end the list? How many of you remember How many of you remember listening to the radio for school closures, like when it was a snow day? And if you missed it when they were announcing it, like whatever your town was or whatever, they would do it by state, and then they would go into the different municipalities and the different towns and everything, the cities, whatever. And if they happen to miss yours, or you, I'm sorry, if you missed it, you're like, oh shit, because usually it was alphabetical. You're like, oh shit, did they say our school? Look outside. I'm looking outside. No, they can't be school. But this one is having school. But these schools are closed now, but that's not New York. I mean, that's New York. That's not New Jersey. What are they on? M? Shit, we got to wait. We missed it. And you got to wait for them to go back to A, and then they have to take a commercial break and everything. And you're like, well, shit, do I get my shoes on? Do I get my boots on? And we're going to school. We're not going to school. As far as your parents are concerned, it didn't matter if there was a lightning storm and the apocalypse and the four horsemen. School was on unless they actually had you had to show proof that there was no school in my house anyway. And but yeah, you had to listen to. There was no internet. There was no ticker little thing or whatever. You had to listen to the radio, AM radio. No websites. They didn't have that stuff back then. And you had to listen to see if you and man, probably better than someone yelling Yahtzee or bingo when you're older or you won or something like that. Man, if you heard your school and it said that day was closed, it was like the most exhilarating. Remember the first time you ever had sex? It was better than that. When you heard that your school was on that list and you didn't have school that day, that meant that you're going to do some shoveling and maybe make some money on the side, when kids actually did stuff like that. But you're able to go out and make a snow fort and snowballs and snowmen and have fun. And all your friends come over and have big snowball fight and hot chocolate and cool shit going on. And that was great. Wasn't that great? I thought it was great. Maybe I'm just old fashioned, but to me, it was more exciting than just looking online. All right, let me put my school in. Blah blah blah. Saint Francis of the Worthless Miracle, and that's where I go. Blah blah blah. Boom, and then look. Okay, it's on the website. We're good. Oh, no black ice today. Okay, great. No, you had to wait. Like I said. So it was actually really cool. These are the things that stuck at my mind as a young person, as a young kid, and maybe for those that are my age and maybe a little bit younger, maybe a little bit older, maybe you could associate with that and remember them just like I do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, I'm going to finally get to this. You see this? Do you see this? Does anybody read these things? Some of these people are really aggravating. You're not supposed to drive with these things on. If you want to drive like that, get the plates. They're free. You have to get a script from your doctor or whatever. And if you're legitimately disabled or need it or whatever the case may be for yourself, a family member, whoever, your mom, your dad, your uncle, whatever, it's fine. And this is a real one. That's genuine. But I'm telling you, nobody reads. Nobody reads. You're not supposed to drive with it. We'll go over that when I get back. And then if you want to type in the chat, you want to ask me some questions, you can. Remember, it's Mean Machine 973 at Mean Machine 973. Our handle on Twitter, Twitch, everything. If you want to drop us a line, it's Mean Machine 973 at outlook.com. The 833-777 mean number. We don't have it on right now, but I'm working on that along with copyrighted content, all that stuff, and an actual station working and all that. I've got some news, like I mentioned this earlier, and we have some news that's in the works. So stay tuned for that because it won't be just satellite radio. It won't be just YouTube. It'll be actually on AM/FM band radio instead of looped through. Oh man, it's going to be really cool, and I'm going to be able to play different music and everything, and install some talk radio into it at the same time, exactly the way I want it set up. And it's going to be really great. And I'm really excited that that's going to happen. But it's a grind and just like everything else. But right now, I appreciate all the new followers. If you're following us on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Twitch or Kick or especially YouTube, which is our main one right now, to subscribe on there is free. If you feel like doing that, that's cool. And you hit the little bell on there and you can hit reminders and it'll let you know when I'm live, when we're having a special show or anything like that. It is 4th of July weekend. So welcome to the month of July. And like I said, today's July 1st, right? 2023, otherwise known as the first day in the beginning of your 5-day grace period for paying your rent. We're going to be right back. And we're going to go over that placard there and a couple other complaints and grievances I have and a few other things. And you guys can type in the chat if you want to do a little Q&A and speak to me. You can do that. And I will do my best to address you live. Maybe a couple more emails from females. We'll see what happens on that. So anyway, don't go anywhere. We're gonna have some fun, and we're not done yet. 25th episode. Pretty proud of that. Be back in 5. This is the Meme Machine, baby, from the live state of New Jersey. Back in Cinco. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, it's just one of those things where the mic gain just keeps going up and down on me. I don't know why. I'm gonna put a limiter on. We'll keep the compressor on. There we go. Hopefully that'll work. And we'll change the give me something else to look at there. And we'll do this. Well, it's one of my Goodfellas posters. Actually, that thing was like falling off the wall, and we had it anchored. The one that's behind me right there. I don't know if you can really see it. It's not the best lighting in there. Alexa, turn second light red. So yeah, maybe you could see it a little bit better. Anyway, forget to change the camera angle there. So here I am. Anyway, I wanted to say once again, me machine 973 at outlook.com is our email address if you want to drop us a line on some ideas for some future shows, or you could DM us on same thing at me machine 973. That's our handle on Twitter. Don't send messages through Instagram or Facebook because we don't really see them until like way after. But I do appreciate all the viewing time they're getting, watching some of our other videos, putting some thumbs up, like smashing the like buttons on some of our other videos. So there's different tabs on our YouTube. I just wanted to make mention of this real quick. So if you're watching, if you want to help us out, that's cool. You go on YouTube and there's different headings. One says videos, one says live. The live one would be all the times that we go live on, which is Saturday nights. But in addition to that, you could go under podcasts, under YouTube Music, and put in Me Machine Talk Radio Show, and you'll see it on there. Also, if you maybe go into some of our older videos and a little bit of watch time for us, and you know what I mean, smash that on there. Whether you're subscribed or not, you can still watch the video. So it's not like I'm trying to get, that's up to you. Um, so it's pretty cool, and you go, but there's also, we have it categorized under episodes and everything. So if you go into playlists, you'll see all the Me Machine Talker, all the playlists. So just these, so you could go into different playlists or live tab or whatever, so you could click over on the different tabs. You don't just hit videos like some people don't. They're like, I don't see your stuff or whatever, because that's the our main page or whatever. You got to click on the tabs. You'll see the tabs that are listed across. Anyway, just in case you're not that familiar with YouTube, because that's where the main concentration of what we're doing is right now. So hopefully you'll do that. All right. So we did emails from females, and we did a nice little stroll down memory lane. Wasn't bad, and I wanted to thank the people that came in from Facebook tonight, because we sometimes move things around a little bit. Now we might go live on Twitter. Sometimes I make a TikTok video during the week. It all depends. You know what I mean? I try to, I'm spread a little bit thin, but like I said, a lot of great things on the horizon as far as copyrighted music and videos, and actually having music playing, you know what I mean? Talk radio along with some rock music and some top 40 and maybe some classic, you know, classic rock and 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe even throw a little metal song in there from that time to time, maybe even some disco. It depends on what mood I'm in. Like tonight I would have played some 70s and 80s. It's not worth getting muted or doing anything that's going to have the conductors over there, mute us out. We don't want to do that. So we're going to do it the proper way. And it's a grind, baby. It really is. And if you think it's easy, give it a try, because I'm telling you right now, it is not. However, being able to move things around in my home studio when I pre-record stuff in New York City and that kind of thing, I do little bits and stuff. It was actually popular. And I was doing like shorts. I was doing like funny stuff. Like I did like midget jokes, like, on their shorts. Get it? The one that I did was, my this is the other day, and if you could look on it, one of the headings, like I was just mentioning on YouTube, is shorts, and there's one about people that write checks there in the supermarket, and some of the other ones that they banned and they took over me. Yeah, they're always trying to censor me, just like they did with Howard Stern, just like they did with Lenny Bruce, just like they did with George Carlin. But you know what? I'm going to do my thing, and if that means that I can't get monetized on certain things, then oh well, I'm going to be me, just like you should always be you. So If you're with that, if you're up for that and down for that, great, because I roll the way I roll. And any money that we make after we get out of the red and after operating costs and everything is all going to be going to charity. So we're going to raise some dough for charity. I think it's a great thing because you have to do stuff that's good for the soul, baby. You just do. That's the way I feel about it. Remember the two columns, stuff that you need on one side and stuff that you want on the other side. And if you have everything that you need or you're progressing towards stuff that you need, you're ahead of the game. You should be content with your life, but more than just being content. If you could grab a thing now and then from column B, stuff that you want, and if you feel that that'll enhance your life or however you want to word it, great. But as long as you have what you need, because remember, it was a great morning. A lot of people did not see it this morning. Some people didn't wake up this morning. You did, so you're already ahead of the game. And I'm assuming you did because you're listening to me right now, but call me crazy. But every day above ground is a good day. That's what they say. You know what I mean? And that's why I mentioned in the other show, there has to be a hell, right? Because you wouldn't be able to recognize heaven some days, right? So keep in mind what I'm saying. Words of wisdom, a la the meme machine. That's all I'm doing. But back to the midget stuff. So I went to my girlfriend who was a midget. I'm sorry. She's vertically challenged. All right. The only thing PC in this house is my computer. Gabish? So I looked over to her and I took some medication. My eyes were glazy. And she said, Are you high? And I stood up and I said, I'm higher than you. Dad joke. Now, we did a lot of dad jokes 2 weeks ago for the Father's Day special because I figured we could get away with it, but I was doing it all the time. So here's dad joke number 2. Okay. And we do. We keep, so my girlfriend's a midget. I've already mentioned that for those who didn't know. Yeah. She's a midget. She's a small little girl, a great girl, from what I was told. And I leaned over to her one day. I said, What's up? She looked at me and she said, Everything. Didn't dad jokes. Like the Ebonics thing. You got to put certain words in a sentence, you know, like put penis in a sentence. Okay. Well, I went for a drug test and the nurse came out with a little cup and she said, Here, penis. Dad jokes, you know. I said to my girlfriend, I said, I know you're a midget. I said, but, I want Chinese food tonight. Are you down for that? She goes, I'm down for everything. Dad joke number 3. Does it get any cheesier? Oh, yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. It's right as rain, though, right? Come on. Don't lie and stop it. You know this shit's funny. Which leads me to my next thing. As my mic gain keeps going in and out. This, folks, is a disability placard. Okay. Let me move this out of the way here. Okay. This is a disability placard. Nobody reads. Now, I'm sure if you're driving, you see this all the time, not just hanging, people driving with it. Folks, read this. What does this say on here? I'll read it to you in case you don't know. It says it right here. Remove before driving. It's the law. Okay? Right there. Remove it before driving. It's a law. No, nobody reads. So here's an extra blind spot for when you're driving. So you have one here, one there, possibly one or two there. And now let's have this one dangling right here. Yeah, we get it. We understand. I'm not making fun of it. I'm saying that stop being an idiot. Okay. It says clearly, why would you give yourself an extra blind spot? I'll say it again. Remove before driving. It's the law. If you need it, get the plates. They're free as well. You get a script from your doctor. You go there. You got to do the thing through motor vehicle. You are not charged for it. Okay. Same thing with this. Now, some people have the red one, which is a temporary one, and this is a permanent one, or a yeah. It says right here a permanent one, and it says caution. And this one's actually a Jersey one, but I'm just saying. And I covered the numbers so nobody could see it. And they're usually good for like 2 or 3 years. I think it's 3 years, which is longer than your car inspection. But anyway, I'm not saying you don't need it, and I'm sure everyone needs to use it for those that need to use it. I am not in any way saying or making fun of that. What I am not making fun of, but I'm annoyed about is it clearly says it right on here. Remove it. It's the law. And you know damn well that after this show, which is right now, it's Saturday night, it's July 1st, 2023. Tomorrow, later today, tomorrow, any day, subsequent days after, whatever, you know damn well you're going to be driving to work or to or wherever you're driving to. You know you're going to get behind somebody that has this. Why? Why would you? First of all, why would you want to tell everybody this? It's nobody's business if you are or if you're not, or what the cause or the reasons behind that. That's between you and your doctor and your family or whatever. Now you're letting the entire world know because you see this big thing dangling. Okay, I get it, but you're not supposed to drive with it. Remove it because the only time you need it is when you park. So what the hell are you driving with it for? Because in 2 short hours I'll be parking. I want to let everyone know on both sides, in front and behind me, that I'm disabled. Great. But could you not drive with it? Because there's a reason why. Because it's right in your peripheral vision. It's right in your line of sight. Remove it. It is the law. Knock it off. Start reading. There's a reason why there's rules and laws. Okay? All right, I'm done with that. Damn. I've never understood that. And I know maybe the lettering is small, but I mean it's this is common sense stuff. You know what I mean? Unless of course you're blind. If you're blind, maybe you shouldn't be driving. Although you never know with some of these people, but you get my point. It doesn't come into play at all. So please follow the rules, man. We all have to do it. Use your damn directionals. And that doesn't mean put on your left blinker or directional and then dart right in front of me. I use my directionals. You know why? Not because I'm trying to be old fashioned or whatever. That's why vehicles come with them. Number one. Number two, I want the guy behind me not to clip me or take my ass off. You know what I mean? That's why I have it. And that's why I use them. It takes 2 seconds to do. Now, some people do. I'm not saying everybody doesn't, but my God, not enough. And I'm sure it's more than 50-50. It's more like 70-30 of people that don't. Let me just drive wherever. Am I supposed to be clairvoyant? Okay. And then you got Mr. Magoo over here on the other side driving like this with the cell phone. Don't even get me started. That was a different show. Anyway, I just wanted to go over that. But I have fun doing what I'm doing, and you should have fun doing what you do. And I appreciate followers. I appreciate people that watch and taking time out of their lives. And maybe I'm entertaining them. Maybe they forgot about whatever was going on in their life for that particular day or time, moment in time. And if I was able to do that, and I'm able to do that going forward, I certainly, it's incumbent upon me to do the best show that I can. Limited resources for the time being, but if I can make you laugh, or if you could associate, or you enjoy memory lane, or the trivia, or talking about movies, sports, music, pop culture, whatever it is, or just everyday nuances, or just people that are idiots sometimes. Hey, we could all act like that. There's a difference between acting like an idiot and being an idiot. And if you don't know the difference, you're an idiot. But you get the point. If I can maybe let you forget about some of the stuff, because life is difficult, and whoever coined the term that it's a jungle out there, man, were they right. It is a grind. Everything seems like it is more than it ever was. Prices skyrocketing on food, on gas, on everything, everyday stuff. It's stuff that just like since it seems like since COVID, it's just everything's just tailspinned. You know what I mean? And these people, oh, we have this idea to do this or that. The last original idea that they had right after that, I heard a toilet flush. Okay, so it's not an original idea. Trust me. All right, stop remaking movies and calling it a tribute. No, that's mostly bands when they do a tribute, or I'm sorry, they're sampling, or with movies or something. It's a reboot. No, I'll give you a reboot right in your ass. Okay, leave it alone. That's why it's called a classic. Enjoy it, remember it, revisit it, but don't try to change everything or try to make it better or update it. Not everything needs to be updated. Work on using your directional, and don't drive with this hanging from your mirror. It's the law. All right. Just remember I said that. This is me machine wisdom here. Otherwise, I'm going to be hitting you with more dad jokes. And I've got a million of them. You know what I mean? If you think those are bad, I have other ones. Anyway, but I'm going to probably wrap it up. But I hope that you have a happy and a safe 4th of July weekend with you and yours, family, friends. Maybe some of you have to work or whatever. I salute those people. You know what I mean? Because life doesn't stop, baby. You know what I mean? And you only go around once, and live every day like it's your last, because one day it will be, you know? And remember that there's always Braille at the ATM just in case you needed that, at the ATM. Just throwing that out there, you know. I'm very happy and proud and privileged that this is our 25th show in season one here of the Mean Machine Talk Radio Show. If you're following us on Facebook, please do. And if you're not, damn it, why not? You might as well, all right? Because I'm not going to stop asking. But I have a lot of stuff in the works, a lot of time and energy, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears go into everything that I do. And I give it my all. I'm done. I'm wasted. I'm spent at the end of each one. And just like DJs before me, or and different broadcasters and announcers and everything. And if you're in that business and you're on radio, or just you understand what is, maybe you're a producer or a program director or that kind of thing, how difficult it is. But if you love doing what you're doing, whether you're getting paid for it or not, if you would still do it, no matter what, if you were doing it for free, then even if that's the case, then you will be successful when it does kick in, when you do. I've done it. I will do it again. And I wish all of you that are trying to do or aspire to do that, if I could help somebody and maybe give some words of encouragement or some insight from the years that I've done it. I mean, more than 30 years of being a disc jockey. It just, you don't have to be streaming long to know life. And I do know it. I'm happy to help. And if anybody has a fledgling business, or somebody who's starting a brand new website, or maybe you're trying to sell yourself, and I don't mean prostitution, you don't know that, even though I'm really keen on that. I think that that's wonderful, but that's why it's called the oldest profession, right? But my point being, if I can do a spot for you, okay, free of charge. All we say is that you watch some of our stuff and maybe you get the word out and everything. That's all I ask, because advertising is expensive. Maybe we help each other. It's called collaboration with people that are like me, people that do similar things. Hey, Anthony has a brand new electronics store, and it just opened up on number 23 Happy Street. And here's the address, and here's their website, and go visit them. And here's their operating hours, and whatever it is, and 10% off if you walk in with a limp or whatever it is. Willing to do that kind of stuff for you, especially for mom and pops. You know what I mean? Because, they took a hit, and a lot of them are gone forever, unfortunately, since COVID. People that put their life savings and everything, and I feel bad. And it's gone, wiped out from COVID and everything. And we're still seeing the effects of that. Believe me, we are. As subtle as it might be, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Pricing, price gouging, things that are here, things that are not here anymore, things that have changed. Oh, you want an interview? Oh, well, download Zoom. And well, wait, what? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that have changed. But let me tell you something. If the Mean Machine can help anybody out there legitimately, reach out to me, reach out to us. I will respond, whether the news be good or bad, and I will help you, because collaborating and trying to help other people, I think it's important. And I didn't always feel that way, that to that extent, but I do now. And it's not because I have no agenda. I don't make a dime off of it. If I can help out and people are listening to my voice, and as our program starts to grow, which it has, it's come a long way. And just our first episode was March 25th. And I'm pretty proud of that. And there's nothing but great stuff on the horizon. I'll keep making them if you keep watching them and listening. Have a great 4th of July weekend. Check out our videos. Remember the tabs: live tab, podcast. Let that shit roll. Go wash the dishes or something. Just let it roll. If you can't, if you don't love my voice, and you know you do, especially the girls. I mean, come on, chicks dig me. You know what I mean? Just let it roll. Mute it, whatever. Get some time in for us. Drop us some likes. Give us some subs, whether it's on Twitch or Kick or YouTube, especially. You know what I mean? Putting likes on there, maybe making some comments. I'll respond to them. I will, because I feel that it's important. Everybody has a place here in my world, the Me Machine world. And to end, I'm going to answer this one email from Lori. Okay. She's from Maine. Yep, that's still a state. It's not so much New York. It's not so much New Hampshire. It's not really Canada, but it is definitely, Stephen King and lobster and And that's pretty much all I know about Maine. Um, she said, uh, well, first thing she said, she goes, "Do you ever get nervous or tongue tied or anything like that when you do shows, whether it was in the past or now?" Of course. Nervous? No. Once in a while, you get exhilarated. That's why when I say, and it starts going three, two, one, and the on air little thing, you don't see it, but I hear it and then I see it. No, I kind of, I'm on. And whether I'm on video or I'm just on live as far as audio, no, I don't get nervous. Now and then I'll get butterflies or whatever, which is a good thing, but I can't wait. It's like I'm on. And no, it just comes naturally for me. And some people it doesn't. They freeze up and everything. And I'm not making fun of them. It's not for everyone. It's just something that I did for so long. And even after 11 years, and now that I'm back, it's like a light switch went on. And so, no, I don't get nervous with it. And, but yeah, I mean, we all get tongue tied. And sometimes it's like, did my lips even go through customs? I'm like, it happens. It does happen. But you know what? You got to keep going no matter what. We're all human beings, don't lose sight of that. Don't forget. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect, not even me. So, anyway, from the good fellows behind me over there, the boys in Soprano Land. And, we're going to go on site and we're going to do some mobile stuff and talk to people and ask them, what's the capital of Chicago? And, and like intelligent questions like that, maybe some college students, just to, to test and, their aptitude on things. I think it's important that we know where all this money is going. And all this student, can't they just say, call it even with all the student debt? No wonder nobody wants to go to school or continue anymore. All right, so here's your career now. Oh, by the way, you owe $87,000. I mean, that sucks. This is supposed to be the richest country in the world, man. Just forgive this debt. I know they're trying, I think. But the powers that be ain't going to let that happen, and maybe partially. Um, so, but if you're hanging in there and you're doing your thing, more power to you. A lot of people, including myself, are behind you. So do your thing, baby. Rock on. You know what I mean? Enjoy your night. Have a great holiday weekend. Like I mentioned, if you're barbecuing and you're a sauce boss, do your thing, baby. 4th of July, there's bombs and shit, going on outside or whatever. We don't even wait here in Jersey and New York. They're just blowing up shit out there. I don't know. It's awesome. I mean, if you like, car horns and, alarms going off at all hours of the night and dogs barking like constantly, whatever, because their ears are, you know, it's like ear rape for them of how loud all this stuff is and everything. If you enjoy all that, then enjoy your weekend because it's going to be good. Um, and I think the banks will be open for at least 3 or 4 hours this entire week, so you're good to go. Anyway, in the immortal words of who just recently passed, Jerry Springer, take care of yourself and each other. I used to love when he would end the show like that, and then people would hit each other with chairs, But still, it was a great show. Anyway, I appreciate you listening. See. Sometimes you get tongue tied, and watch some of our stuff. It helps us if you really want to help us out. And if you have ideas for some future shows, or if you want to reach out to us, memachine973 at outlook.com, like I mentioned, or DM us at memachine973 on our Twitter feed. Um, Same handle and everything. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, everything, man. Just everything. Just meme machine your life. You know what I mean? We bring good things to life, just like GE. All right. I had some fun. I hope you did too. Until next Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which we might change the hours a little bit, maybe make it a little bit earlier. I'll let you know about that, for like summer hours, summer hours and summer not. So look out for that. And I'm going to make some clips and some shorts during the week. So I hope you'll check those out too. So thank you very much. Ladies, love you. Men, we love you too. Why not? Have a great 4th of July. And just remember, who loves you, babe? The Meme Machine. Good night from the great state of New Jersey. Have a good one. See you next week. Peace.